we should, but this is why you kind of need to have a strategy and really have some ranges so that you don't, slip out of it and just hope to get lucky, because that's not really where the money's made in the long run.
Yeah. Mockery, understandably, check calling that flop, but ace of spades on the turn.
Great card for Mockery to lose less money. Not necessarily one that I think he'll get a free card on, but, a card that is going to make it harder to keep calling down big bets, and in some situations maybe even get, it depends on the river really, but might get even a check back sometimes from a set. I know it sounds crazy, but we have seen Machado take the sort of safer route in some situations, and if you expect... Oh.
Wow.
And with that 9 of spades blocker is going to represent the flush, which is one of the hands that is in Mockery's range. Now the question becomes, once Machado calls this, is that going to dissuade Mockery from firing again and repping a flush? Do you think that your opponent, has a set and is willing to fold, or...
See Machado going into the time bank cards here. Just taking a little time to think this through. Obviously, really big pot brewing, but just a little bit too much hand to fold at the moment.
Yeah, and I always like being surprised by players' capabilities in spots like this where, we're just talking about, oh, he's flop top pair, hope you can get away and not lose too much, and then making your own luck and turning that what was once such a powerful top pair on the flop into a bluff. And that's a good card to continue the story. And I love the way he is right away thinking, okay, if he does have and this is the fun thing about this spot too, I want to say, Maria, is if you start breaking down, if Mockery's really thinking about, combos, right? What kind of flushes is Machado going to have here as the aggressor? Been kind of having a bit of a tighter strategy. So Jack 10 suited for the Royal.
Yep.
I have 9 of spades, so I block Jack 9 suited, 10 9 suited. I don't think he's even going to be comfortable with like a 7 high flush. So I can really, bet huge here and get, folds from sets that are now scared of not just the, and he goes all in. And it's just, it's an incredible...
Absolutely.
And
as you mentioned, just such a narrow range for Machado to have in terms of better flushes here. And it's just such a great play. It's such a key card, that 9 of spades. And it's one thing to recognize these spots, Griffin, but it's another thing to be able to pull the trigger on them.
No, I haven't done this many times in my career, like it's not an easy situation. It's not an easy thing to do. It's just, and on the biggest stage.
So, just great awareness from Mockery, but really in the zone here with the hand reading ability and being able to follow through here, really putting Machado in the blender.
And I'm admiring Machado for, maybe he's just posturing a bit, maybe he's just showing that he can't be bullied, and he's always intending on folding, but... Or maybe he's aware that, Mockery will have something like what he has. King 9, 9 of spades, maybe 8, 9 with the 9 of spades. Or the problem is, too, it's just like 8 and Jack is the straight now. There's just, it's. I don't think you should play it as a pure fold for the reasons of the hand strength and the opponent, but, there's not a lot of bluffs. And it's just, this is the biggest hand of EPT Barcelona 2022.
So sick.
There's the fold.
Gets the set to fold. Great play from Mockery. Well done.
Yeah, and there are a couple of comments about Mockery as he's chewing up his snooze. some jokes about him having plot armor, and it certainly seems like he might be the hero of the story so far in the coverage. Up to over 7 million chips, 176 big blinds.
Let's go.
Masterful bluff. Really the stuff we've come to see, want to see,
Nothing like a little sunshine. Got sand on your feet and a big baseline. Moving slow cause we've got time. Your sparkles out, party at mine. Check out the view, shades low. Started at 2, no room to go. Come to my party, all of your friends are here, and we're all smiling ear to ear. Come disappear.
I'm all in. I'm all in. All in.
But there's a king on the turn!
Me. Is nu wel iets in het poker?
Oh, dat dichtbij.
Ooh, I'm in good shape right now.
The town takes it down! Like it's like Coles, and it's over!
Welcome to the PokerStars European Poker Tour. It's final table day in Barcelona. The final 6 players in the main event will play down to a champion. Someone's going to receive the first prize of 1.6 million euros. Hello everyone, I'm James Hartigan. Joe Stapleton is down on the floor. With me in the booth, Randy Lou.
Hey everyone.
I should bring you up to speed, just in case you missed anything that happened on day 5. Let me tell you what happened on the penultimate day of this record-breaking event. Just 13 players returned to the tables, with 2 former champs still in the field and 2 qualifiers in the Platinum Pass Last Longer Challenge. Danny Tang was the first player to hit the rail, a misjudged, mistimed hero call. Ben Heath almost cracked aces, but was rivered and departed in 12th. Hao Zhengwang built a huge stack, crippling Fabiano Kowalski with kings against jacks, and Kowalski busted shortly afterwards. Georges Hanna went out in 10th, getting us to our unofficial final table. Then the 2 remaining EPT champs clashed, Ognian Dimov getting the better of John Juanda, the 2015 Barcelona winner, out in 9th. No luck of the Irish for Patrick Clark or Mark Buckley, eliminated in 8th and 7th respectively. Wong ended the day with the chip lead. Online qualifier Petr Nijinsky just behind him. Between them, they have more than half the chips in play. We spoke to the chip leader at the end of play yesterday.
It's amazing, it's my first time to take part in such a big tournament, and actually I just played poker for almost 2 years, less than 2 years, it's just like a dream.
So we've referenced the 2 big stacks at the table, Randy, Wong and Nijinsky. Let's have a look at all 6 players and let's see what they're bringing to the final day of the Barcelona main event. 81 bigs, 77 bigs for the chip leaders. Dimov just above average with 50 big blinds. Matthias de Kerpe with 35 big blinds. And then we've got the 2 Portuguese players, the 2 friends at the final table. Marks with 34 bigs, Rodrigo Carmo clinging on with just 10 big blinds. We heard from the guy at the top of the leaderboard, Hao Zhengwang. Let's hear from the guy who's second in chips, qualifier Petr Nijinsky.
But what can I say? Dreams come true. I have been watching EPT for many years, and I always dreamed to be on the final table, but I'm shocked. I have been playing poker for many years, but it wasn't my main occupation. I'm a doctor. I finished medicine and I did 1 year practice. And then with my fiance, I decided to travel the world and play poker. Yeah, and we have been traveling for 1.5 years. Half year more, and I'm coming back to being a doctor.
Nijinsky living the dream. He's also in the qualifier last long contest for a platinum pass with this guy, Ognion Dimov.
Yesterday, when the Polish guy was shorter, there was bigger ICM pressure for me because of the platinum pass. I didn't have any hard spots where I made hero faults, but yeah, I had it in my head.
What about Wang? Seems to be quite an unpredictable player. Have you struggled to understand his method?
Yeah, it's really hard to play against players that are so unpredictable, but my strategy is going to be not to play big pots with him, at least in the beginning, while there are short stacks. And then we will be in some big pots. I'm going to win this trophy and make the biggest result of my career.
When we talk about platinum passes, we're talking about packages to the first ever PokerStars Players No Limit Hold'em Championship taking place in the Bahamas in January 2019. What will likely be the biggest 25K event in history. More than $8 million being added to the prize pool by PokerStars by virtue of these platinum passes, plus an extra $1 million to the eventual winner. Now, there are more than 300 platinum passes that are going to be awarded throughout 2018. Some of them being given away at live events, some of them being given away online. And if you want to find out how you could win a platinum pass, check out the details at PokerStarsLive.com.
Hello and welcome to the European Poker Tour and the live final table of our 15th Barcelona main event, the biggest EPT main event of all time. 1,931 total entries, nearly 10 million euros in the prize pool, 1.6 million euros to the eventual winner. The eventual winner, one of these 6 remaining players. Let's meet them now. Hot off a deep run in this year's Spanish National Championship, a top 3 finish today would launch the player in seat 1 into another #1 seat, his country's all-time money list. From Estonia, Matthias Tekerpe. The player in seat 2 is a wave-catching doctor on sabbatical. He qualified for EPT Barcelona on PokerStars while surfing through South America. At the moment, he has locked in this tasty barrel, frothing at the chance to be the 2nd Barcelona champion from his home country, from Poland, Piotr Nijinsky. At only 24 years old, the player in seat 3 eclipsed his total lifetime live tournament earnings on day 4 of this event. If he takes it down, he'll make nearly 100 times that number and just might help drive some traffic to his poker coaching business. From Portugal, Rodrigo Carmo. The player in seat 4 is currently studying for his master's and was introduced to poker by one of his teachers. He says he's purely a recreational player and hasn't been playing the game very long at all. Could have fooled us. This is how we do it. From China, Haozhang Wang. Joining his friend and countryman Rodrigo at this final table is the player in seat 5. He knows what it's like to go deep in Barcelona. Last year, he chopped the PokerStars National High Roller for 300,000 euros. A win here would put him at the top of his country's all-time money list. From Portugal, Pedro March. The player in seat 6 took home just over €500,000 when he won EPT Deauville in 2015. Today, he stands to win nearly 3 times as much. He's looking to be the first man to ever lift 2 EPT main event trophies. Anyang Ognan Dimov. Let's get a big round of applause for all the players here at the final table. Dealer Daniela, you know what to do. Good luck, everyone.
Wong just can't take his foot off the gas. Maybe this is his way of being nervous. You know, some people, they play tight when they're nervous. She's like, mat, bet, mat, raise.
So the raise is to 450K. Dimov with Queen 9 in the big blind defends.
Dimov playing his A game today.
9-7-5 flop. Pair in a straight draw for Wong. Top pair for Dimov. Action check to the pre-flop aggressor, and he continues.
As Randy would say, it's a front door straight draw, but he's got backdoor clubs.
A bet of 400,000 called by Dimov. 4 of clubs on the turn. Wong now with a flush draw as well.
This is a good card to continue barreling. Your opponent usually has like a random 7 or 5 in their hand. Get those to fold. Going to fire again. He's got a lot of outs in case he is behind.
And he's employing the golden brown chips worth 500,000 each. That's a bet of 1.3 million.
Your Dimov here, top pair, good kicker. Lots of draws out there. I think you just got to continue.
Dimov calls the bet. The river card is the 10 of diamonds. It's a blank. Dimov still with the best hand. Checks the action to Wong. 4.6 million in the middle.
Yeah, Wong knows he probably doesn't have the best hand when he bets the flop, gets called, bets the turn and gets called. He's going to take it showdown.
And this is not an insignificant pot for Ognan Dimov to win. It's going to see him leapfrog Wong on the leaderboard, adding 2.25 million to his stack. Dimov looking to win his second EPT title here in Barcelona. Now has a 62 big blind stack. Wong has dropped down to 57 bigs, 11.5 million. Nijinsky still chip leader. And the 2 Portuguese players are still at the bottom end of the leaderboard. 31 big blinds for Pedro Marques, 20 bigs for Rodrigo Carmo, and still 55 minutes to play at the 100-200 blind level.
Nijinsky's got to be loving this.
And 25 of the final table. Actions on Ognan Dimov. Ace-8. Raises to 450,000. Queen-8 of clubs for Piotr Nijinsky. He flats. Carmo in the small. Folds. Wong in the big. 5 deuce of clubs.
Not a good hand, but with a suited straight draw type hand, it is worthy of a call.
3-way to the flop. And that flop is Jack, Jack 5, just the 1 club out there.
Somehow 5's the best hand, though.
That's what they call that hand, the Perez.
The old Perez.
Action check to Dimov. He does not continue. Nijinsky on the button. That's 600,000. Quick call from Wong. And Dimov folds, heads up to the turn. That 8 sees Nijinsky take the lead and become a 95% favorite.
Probably didn't expect to hit the 8. Looks like he is going to try to get some value out of a 5.
I mean, when you get called there, your opponent has a 5 or a jack, right?
Yeah, I think if you do bet this turn card, you usually check back the river, or you check the turn and call river bet.
3 of diamonds on the river.
You're sitting here for a pair of 5s. Probably think you're good. Trying to get the showdown. Checks it.
Brzezinski bets this, man. I give him so much credit.
Question is, if he does bet it, will he get called? Is Wong going to pay him off with just a 5? Again, he's going for his meaty bet on the river, 2 million into 2.85 million.
He knows he did bet like this against Wong before. It didn't get called. If you keep doing the same bet, your opponent eventually wants to call. Wong knows his hand looks like a 5. Would his opponent try to move him off of it is the question. Is he reaching for chips or just touching them?
Well, that one's all messed up. Look, he's got him in perfect lines. He's probably going to figure that out.
He's also running out of time. Guessing he's playing his time bank cards.
Consternation.
It's a call.
Wow, Nijinsky is running away with this.
Wong pays him off. And Petr Nijinsky has now moved over the 20 million mark. He's got 21.6 million. He's got more than 100 big blinds. So round to Wong on the button, who's got kings.
Finally got one of those real hands.
King Kong Wong.
Raises to 500,000 using a single golden brown chip.
And I believe that he has raised 100% of his buttons when the action's been folded to him.
Dimov defends his big blind. Haven't seen Dimov's hand yet. 7-6, and he flops 2 pair.
Yikes.
Nearly a 3-1 favorite.
And we've seen Wong have a tough time with a marginal laydown. How tough a time is he going to have with a big laydown?
So he's continued for 700,000. Randy, how fast do you expect Dimov to play this?
I expect Dimov to play it fast because there's a lot of bad turn cards like an 8, a 5, a 3 that would slow down the action. His opponent is betting pretty big on the flop, so it looks a little bit more committing, like he's like his hand. There's a check raise.
A fist full of gray. Those are the 100K chips. So the check raise from Dimov is to 2 million.
So Wong's got the overpair, trying to think what hands does he beat. He beats like 8-9, 6-5, that's playing super fast. Would he play it this fast? That's the question. Just gonna call. I like the slower play. Just a lot of bad turn cards. If your opponent continues on 8 or 5, probably got a good hand.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man.
With the board pairing fours, Wong now has a better 2 pair and becomes a 9-1 favorite. Dimov checks to him.
What do you do if you're Wong now? Because some 2 pairs just became a full house.
That is true. But then again, do you want to give a free card to 2 hearts, a 5, 8, you know, all of these random hands? You don't know which one you're trying to dodge.
Some people get a little funky with bottom pair. That just became trips.
So he is going to use a time bank extension here, trying to figure out the best play. He's got a pot-sized bet remaining. Trying to use any information he can get.
Using those time bank cards to buy more thinking time.
So he's thinking about, would his opponent snap check a full house? Would he snap check a straight right now? These are decisions that will help you decide whether to bet your pocket kings.
And I think the answer is yes, maybe.
You're correct. It is yes, maybe. He doesn't know.
Wong bets 2.5 million.
What do you do if you're Dimov now? Do you just give up on this?
Well, you can see that Wong's pretty much committed himself now. Half of his remaining chips have just been bet on the turn.
I mean, he's repping an overpair pretty hard.
Yeah, this is a pretty tough spot with top 2 pair. You're thinking, man, I put so many chips in, get counterfeited, and you can still have the best hand. Your opponent's on a dealer button. Might have like ace-7, right? You know, like some kind of big play with a 5. Gonna make the call.
Wow.
Biggest part of the day so far as Dimov calls the turn bet. 10.3 million in the middle.
And Wang's got practically nothing left behind compared to the size of this pot.
The river card is a 9, doesn't change anything. It goes check, check on the river. And the level comes to an end with Haosheng Wang getting back a lot of the chips he's lost over the course of the last 90 minutes. He's back up to 2nd on the leaderboard. Well, this hand starts with ace-king in early position for Matthias de Kerpe. And he's going to open ship. Pocket 9s for Nijinsky. Or as we like to call them, les nuts des étoiles.
Stars nuts, James?
The man speaks French.
Yes.
Can't imagine that he's going to be filling the pocket 9s here.
So the question really is, Finton, do you just call or look to re-isolate?
I think you just call. The only other player who you're not going to be calling is Wong, and if Wong shoves here, he's just going to have an absolutely huge hand. So I think you can actually call fold.
Well, everyone else has folded, so here we go. Matthias de Kerpe racing for his tournament life. Gets it in with ace-king against the 9s of Nijinsky. Nines hold. We see our first elimination of the day on the 50th hand of the day.
De Kerpe at risk.
The Estonian rail. Side by side with Peter Nijinsky's fiancée Asha. It's a low flop, and they're spades rather than clubs. De Kerpe looking for an ace or a king. Nijinsky now 3-1 favorite to eliminate the Estonian. 6 on the turn, 6 outs for De Kerpe. The crowd wanting very different things on the river. The river card is a queen, and we lose our first player of the day as Matthias de Kerpe exits in 6th place, cashing for €287,050. Has ace-king, 15 bigs.
I imagine we're going to see another flip here, right?
I mean, Camo, you'd imagine, certainly shoving. Wong with the 2-8s, very hard to fold versus a short stack jam, just 15 big blinds. There's the shove. And there is that red triangle of death in front of Camo.
Wong's asked for a count, and when he gets the number, I'm pretty sure he is going to be putting Camo at risk.
It's not a call he'll be delighted to have to make, but it feels like it might just be on the borderline.
4.
It's a huge pot for Wong as well if he was to lose this. If he kind of start to drag down to those lower stacks, he'd be in the middle himself. It looks like he has called, though. Cards on their backs.
So here we go, another coin flip, another race, the pocket pair of Haoxiong Wang against the overcards of Rodrigo Camo, who is the player at risk. That is Wang's rail, including his friend Han Yang in the black t-shirt.
Has to fade an ace or a king, and we'll be down to just 4 players.
Jack 5 deuce, 8s are still ahead. Camo, one of 2 Portuguese friends to have made this final table, needs an ace or a king. And he needs to hit one of his 6 outs on the river, or we are down to 4 players.
One chance to stay alive.
The river card. Is a 3-8 hold, and we lose another player. We go an entire level losing no one, and in the space of 3 hands, boom, 2 bust outs. As Wong celebrates with his rail. He's now playing a 65 big blind stack. Meanwhile, Rodrigo Camo managed to ladder. Remember, he came into play today with fewer than 10 big blinds, and he cashes out in 5th place for 354,200 euros.
And delight for our other short stacks at the table, Dimov and Marks, because they're laddering up. Everybody now guaranteed 424,000 euro.
Celebrate with your mates. Put your arms in the air like you just don't care. Nijinsky in the small has 8 deuce of hearts.
This man will not be hitting any 2s.
Nope, all 3 of the other deuces already in the muck. To Wong in the big blind, a smile and a check.
7-5-4. It is a flush draw and a gut shot for Nijinsky. Wang has the same straight draw and is still ahead with king high.
So board Nijinsky's going to look to do a lot of checking on in general. A lot of his value bets don't necessarily want to bet the flop. It's hard to value bet them on a lot of turns. He starts with a check, and Wong makes the stab with a king-8. Obviously, both players with that gut shot straight draw. Wong with the extra overcard, but it's Nijinsky with the flush draw as well.
Well, that's a check raise from Nijinsky. Wong bet 325,000. Nijinsky pumps it up to 1.1 million.
And it's a fairly tough spot for Wong to want to call in. Obviously, we can see he's got the gut shot straight draw, but even if he hits an 8, he's not happy. If he hits a king on the turn versus a flop check raise, it's going to be very difficult for him down the streets. But it looks like he is continuing.
Also, I was going to say 6 of hearts to be brutal, but instead it's the king of diamonds. Wong didn't need to improve, but he does. Top pair.
And whilst he did have a good shot on the flop, it's to a 4-card straight, which is going to be pretty hard to get paid off in the first place.
Right, if you hit your 6, is your opponent going to start shoveling chips in with just a 7 or even 2 pair, right?
Well, having check raised flop, Nijinsky now barrels the turn for 2.4 million.
I really like this. He shut down previously when he turned a little bit of equity, but he's going to go for it here. He has the good shot, he has the flush draw, and Wong's going to have a lot of hands. He's going to have some 5x. He's going to have some maybe 4-6 hands that are just going to have to fold versus all this pressure versus the chip leader. Of course, it's unfortunate for him that he's turned the king, but I really like that he continues here.
I mean, even if Wong has a 7 and gets barreled on the turn and river, you've got to imagine he's going to be folding. Obviously, picking up the king, he's going nowhere. Will Nijinsky fire 3 streets?
If he doesn't, he's not going to be the chip leader anymore. It is not a fun river card to bluff.
And that's because it cuts down a lot of his value hands, right? Like, he can have 7-4, which probably can't value bet anymore. He can have fewer combinations of 7-5 and pocket 5s and 4-5 because, you know, the 5 on the board makes it less likely he has that in his hand. Just means that with his value range getting that much smaller, obviously when you relate it to his bluffs as a ratio are just going to go up. So is it a card he wants to pull the trigger on? Time bank card and deep in thought.
He's loading up. He is going to bluff the river. 4,500,000 is that?
And we spoke about it on the flop, but Wong catching that king, and it's still a very, very awkward situation for him. Nijinsky can still have 4-5, pocket 4s, 7-5, 6-8.
What hands is Nijinsky going to want to bet here when he check raises 3 times? He's going to want to bet his straights. He's going to want to bet his full houses, but that's pretty much it. He's not going to have a 5 too often, so I might want to go bigger with my size in here, closer to full pot. But I mean, it's an incredibly tough spot with King 8 right now.
And understandably, time bank cards being played, and you can tell that Wong is split down the middle. He's counted out the chips for the call, but they did the classic look back at your cards, which players inevitably do just before they fold.
But important to note, 12.25 million chips in the middle.
Right now, it doesn't matter, though, what odds he's getting, really. He kind of needs to be right. He can't be getting these wrong. I know you're getting odds. I know you have to call some parts of your range, but when there's so much money up top, you kind of got to throw it out the window a little bit and make the right decision right now.
Wong calls.
He does.
And that is a huge pot, which will change the chip lead at this final table. A big call, which sees him move up over the 28 million mark, and Petr Nijinsky drop down to below 15 million. Pocket 8s again for Wong. Bless you.
Let's see the flop.
Ace-3 for Mark. He shoved with this hand from the big blind last time, but this time he checks.
A little bit of speech play from Wong there.
Let's see the flop, he says. Oh, he'll wish he hadn't.
10-7. Action goes check, check. Straight draw for Wong on the turn.
Happy to check again. Still ahead of a lot of hands that just check in the big blind.
Don't anticipate this going check, check for a second time, though.
$425,000. Wong calls with a pair of 8s. No, he doesn't. He check raises. Check raises with the pair in the straight draw. It's check raise city. $2 million.
Given the connectivity of the board, Marks might be suspicious that Wong would let anything decent take off 3 cards here.
Particularly when he has an ace in his hand.
Even if Wong was playing trap on the flop, it'd be unlikely he checks again on the turn and risks a bad river if he has something like pocket 7s. He doesn't want to see a diamond or a 6 or an 8 or a jack.
He might also realize at this point that he's somewhat capped, right? He hasn't got many strong hands at this point.
Jams the turn.
I'm priced in and I have to call.
If he does, he'll have 10 outs. I mean, that's better than a flush draw.
That's why they pay the big bucks.
Thank you.
Two 9 more.
Does he ever feel like he can have the best hand as well? Maybe against 8-5 of diamonds or something?
You have the
very occasionally.
The best hand now, bet.
There's the call. So Mark's set for a double up here, but Wong does have 10 outs. 6s, 8s, and jacks all working for him. Cards that Mark will have to fade on the river.
There you see the red triangle next to Mark. He's at risk. He needs to fade the cards in the top left to stay in the tournament.
6 6 6 6 6 没逼过别人，要逼一次啦，忙忙多到次。
Let's see the river.
6.
It's a 4. March gets the double up through Wong. We are still four-handed here in Barcelona.
Nice friend.
So we referred to this being a record-breaking EPT Barcelona, and it's the 15th Barcelona main event that there's been. The first was back in 2004. Alexander Stevic, the original champion on the European Poker Tour, and we can see with those prize payouts how the tour grow very quickly over the next few seasons. In the modern era, we saw Martin Schleich, railed by Ola Shemian, win here in 2011. And the following year was the year of the fins in hats, but it was Nikolai Pabal who emerged victorious. You mentioned Midi a moment ago. He took it down in 2013. Andre Letal, Savan, won in 2014. Then it was Jawanda, Mallets, last year's main event champion, hashtag Scarf Guy, Sebastian Sorensen. He will follow in his footsteps and claim the prize of 1.6 million euros. 4 players remain in the biggest field we've ever seen on the European Poker Tour.
Tournament director Toby Stone, which leads me to believe that a deal is being discussed.
All right, guys. So what we've got here, if you want to come in a little bit closer, I've got your 4 names here. I've got your chip counts, which will be confirmed. This is the last position which we're going to take out of the prize pool because you have to play for 10% of remaining. So everyone's already got 4th play. Yeah. Everyone agrees? All right, guys.
All right, we have a deal. Hercules, Hercules, Hercules. So that's what everyone has locked up. They're still playing for an additional 180,000 euros for the winner and the Platinum Pass. Also, there is still the Platinum Pass on the line between Jasinski and Dimov. Hand number 81 here at the final table. Pocket 10s for Hao Zhang Wang. He's been aggressive throughout this tournament, and his aggression has not dialed down at all since the deal has been made. March, who starts the hand with just over 21 big blinds, has ace tray of clubs on the button.
Yeah, this is 4-handed. I wouldn't be surprised he shoves all in here. He knows Wong is going to raise a lot and will just fold to a shove, but pocket 10s would actually make a call.
There's the all-in from March. Dimov and Nerzinski fold. I assume Wong will be beating him into the pot. There are the cards on their backs. It is looking very likely that March is going to be eliminated in 4th place. His friend Rodriguez is
excuse me, Rodrigo was eliminated not too long ago. Tell you what, I'm not going to miss the controversy over pronouncing his name. But I can assure you, he told me it's Marks.
I'm afraid of 3. Queen 3. And there is 3. May A.
Pretty safe flop for pocket tens, 1 club. Not much to worry about, Mr. Wong.
Sure. 10.
No additional outs with the Queen of Hearts on the turn. Marks needs an ace and only an ace on the river. Otherwise, he is out of here in 4th. Not an ace. It's an 8. Pedro March eliminated from EPT Barcelona 2018 in 4th place. Was supposed to win 424,000 euro. Thanks to that deal, now nearly 700,000 euros to take back to Portugal.
It was amazing, you know, having my parents around here, my friends and my girlfriend, something amazing.
And has your mum always been supportive about your dreams and career in poker?
Yeah, always, since the beginning, yeah. They used to play with me, so yeah, for sure.
They didn't teach you, did they?
No, I teach them, but then after a few years we started playing together. We even play EPT together, all of us.
So once you've cashed out now, you'll play a high-stakes game with your mum?
No, not with my mum. With my mum, just with sense.
And now we've lost both the Portuguese players. What's the plan for this evening? Are you going to celebrate such a good week?
Yeah, for sure. Celebrate having a dinner with every one of them, and yeah, maybe some party also.
Hand number 88, pocket 8s. Agyang Dimov. Agyang all in from the button. King 7 of clubs. Gets a fold from Rzinski. Called by Hao Zhang Wang before we could even get to him with the cameras. Fist pump when he sees it's Domination Nation. Wong is about to eliminate Dimov. Yeah, better start drinking that beer, buddy, because I think you're going to lose the last longer.
That was a very quick call. The best hand, just King 8 offsuit.
Agyang Dimov. Also, you know what? We did not mention this recently, is that he's playing for being a 2-time EPT champion, which actually you can't put a dollar amount on. Ace, 4, deuce, King 8 still way out in front. Dimov is going to need some help. 3 immediate outs, which are 7s. That does not increase his outs. No chops. A 7 and only a 7. It is very often coming 7, Randy Lou.
Is it going to come this time?
Will it be the 7 from heaven? No. No dice. Agyang Dimov eliminated in 3rd place. Hao Zhang Wang continues to mash
on the table.
this short-handed final table.
And then you will get it. Oh, okay. I will try.
And thanks to his deal, Agyang's going to walk with more than the 590,000 euros that was advertised. 725,000 euro.
With 2 players remaining, I'd just like to congratulate both players. Piotr Nuziski. He's our last longer and he's won the Platinum Pass, and by default, Hao Changwan has also won a Platinum Pass. So a huge congratulations to these 2 players. And we're going to sit down and continue. Thank you very much.
All right, play on, players.
Pocket kings for Nerzinski, going to 3-bet it.
Hello.
This is the first 3-bet of the heads-up play. Wong has Jack-9 offsuit. It's not really the hand you're looking to play in a 3-bet pot if you don't have to, but just feels like he can outplay his opponent.
He can certainly outdraw his opponent. Happens every day. How about this? Wow.
So Wong has 47% against pocket kings on his flop.
They are flipping post-flop. Kings versus Jack-9. Middle pair and an up and down straight draw. Backdoor spades for Wong, and he is coming out swinging.
All the chips can get in here in the middle, and Nerzinski 3-bets. I wouldn't fault him for putting all of the chips in here. There's so many bad cards. It's a good spot to think about whether you should just call or check raise all in. It's kind of one of those spots where with kings, you're not in love with it, but I think all in is better. Wow, snap call.
Yeah, snap called. Now, here's the thing. This could be over. 50-50 chance it's over. Also, 50-50 chance Nerzinski doubles up.
这肯定打光了。
I thought
Yeah,
you
what's
had
your goal?
king jack, you snap goal.
7 always come.
什么呢？
7.
7 always comes.
He must be a fan. He knows that it is the 7 that is always coming.
茫茫多少次？
Yeah, those aren't your only outs. You're right. You can also hit jacks, 9s, queens. And if the turn's a spade, that's going to put a couple more outs up there, too.
6, 9.
Get running spades as well.
This is a flip for the biggest EPT ever. 5 on the turn.
7. 7 always coming.
7 always coming.
What a way to win it. If he calls for the 7. Let's see if the dealer brings down the thunder. So close. But kings hold. And Nerzinski doubles up.
Wong to act first. And just verifying the size of his raise. Pocket 9s. And he's run into the jacks of Nerzinski.
Oh, boy.
1 million is the bet from Wong. Nerzinski responds with a 3-bet. There was a fistful of the golden brown chips there. 3.1 million.
And both of these hands heads up, especially 70 big blinds deep. They are monsters.
Can you get in 70 big blinds with these hands?
It really depends on your opponent in the correct dynamic. If we've seen a lot of raise 3-bet, 4-bet wars, then definitely there's going to be an argument that you 4-bet call 9s. I think between these two, we've not seen a huge amount of pre-flop action. So Wong more likely just to take this one to a flop. That's exactly what he does with a call.
The flop is all diamonds. Both players have a diamond. Look at that. The quick check from Nerzinski. What suits did I have again? So Wong's flush draw is no good. He only has 7% equity.
Nerzinski checks, having 3-bet pre-flop.
And this does not look like a terrible board for a pair of 9s when you've got the 9 of diamonds in your hand, especially.
And Wong checks behind.
Wow.
It's certainly a situation where a lot of players would bet the 9s heads up, even in a 3-bet pot. Your opponent's going to have plenty of broadways that miss, but maybe they still have a diamond. Especially a hand like ace-king with the ace of diamonds might not always be continuation betting, and you'd want value or protection.
Delayed continuation bet from Nijinsky, 3.5 million, called by Wong. This hand going to the river. The pot is 13.6 million. The river card is the deuce of clubs.
I think if I'm Nijinsky at this point, I'd be very, very happy with the strength of my hand. The flop's checked through. You've got a call on the turn. Your opponent's going to have some tens. And I think with the diamonds missing on the flop, and given he didn't bet the flop, he'll want to go big and look for what he would see as a pretty straightforward call if you've got a 10 here.
Nines are basically the same hand, right?
Right. Well, sometimes it's going to be like an ace-10 maybe. But I can't imagine nines are going to want to fold.
It's one of those situations where Nijinsky played a time bank card and there was confusion about what had happened. Sometimes it looks like players are folding when actually they're playing the time bank cards.
But it's such a clean river for Nijinsky to be able to value bet.
I think he's just working out his bet sizing, which is why he wanted the additional thinking time. And here comes the bet, 12 million. He goes pretty much full pot.
I like it. I really like it. I think if Wong gets here with a 10, he's very, very difficult for him to find a fold, given the flop was not bet. Obviously, like you say, Joe, nine's very, very similar hand.
Except that you're losing to a 10 also.
Now, this is obviously a big decision for Wong, and I think he only has one time bank card left.
I've been keeping track. Yep, it's just one left.
So that means he's got 60 seconds to make a decision.
Wow, you talk about pressure.
I mean, I guess he can't raise after this.
It's one of those spots where he never wants to raise. It's a very polarizing sizing, and you don't imagine that Nijinsky's going to bet fold for this sizing. He has plenty of showdown value. He wins against all those bluffs. But he needs to ask himself, if Nijinsky 3-bets with king-queen, with the king of diamonds or queen of diamonds, does he not bet flop?
Okay, so that's the last time bank card being enacted.
He's called. He called just before the counter hit 0, pressured into making a decision, and he makes the wrong decision. Pays off Nijinsky's huge value bet, and the stacks aren't close anymore. Nijinsky has the huge chip advantage, close to 120 big blinds, and Wong is down to 24 big blinds. It's 47 million, plays 10 million. Ace, 9 of clubs. He limps. Now Zhong Wang checks his option with king deuce.
Oh boy.
Ace, king, 6 flop.
We have seen Wong lead in some unorthodox situations.
And he's leading here. Bets 500,000.
Now it is a limped pot. He's going to have the best hand a decent amount of the time. Looks for some protection.
Picks up a flush draw, Nijinsky does.
Nijinsky in a great spot now. Top pair and a flush draw. His opponent checks to him. He's got to like the strength of his hand a lot. Would expect him to value bet here.
Wong's body language there is troublesome to me.
Nijinsky bets 2 million, nearly full pot.
He didn't even think about whether or not to call or fold or raise there, just insta-called.
Very quick call from Wong. The river card is the 4 of diamonds. Nijinsky is a lock to win the hand. Wong has 16 bigs behind.
Well, you can understand the call on the turn. He does still beat some of those flush draws. He doesn't beat any of them now. He's still behind to all the ace-X.
All in.
Nijinsky shoves on Wong. He's got 30 seconds to make his decision. There aren't many moments in poker where you're feeling pressure like this. All in to call. Ten-second countdown. You have to make a decision. He calls and it's over. Wong calls all in and sees that his pair of kings are no good to Nijinsky's pair of aces. And we have a Polish champion of the EPT here in Barcelona. Peter Nijinsky follows in the footsteps of his fellow countryman Sebastian Malitz, who took down the title in 2016. And Nijinsky turns 250 euros, that's what he paid to qualify online, into a payday of more than $1 million. He locked up 857k in the four-way deal. He gets the additional 180k. That's 1,037,000 euros. Congratulations from his fiancée Asha. And also he's won that platinum pass to the PokerStars Players Championship in the Bahamas in January 2019.
Piotr Nijinsky, you just won the biggest EPT main event of all time. What does that mean to you?
I can't believe it. It shocked me. But, wow, yeah, I did it. But I ran really, really well. Today I made 2 huge mistakes, and I was thinking I can't win it. But, wow, it's amazing. It's hard to say something now.
You also won a platinum pass. Are you excited to go to the Bahamas?
Yeah, of course, I'm excited.
And it took, did it take a little bit of the pressure off when you made that deal?
Yeah, the pressure was much lower then. So I think I played much better from this point.
And you joined the ranks of some great Polish EPT winners. How does that feel to be amongst Sebastian Malitz, Dominik Panka?
What can I say? It's a great feeling. Yeah, and well, I have been watching EPT series for so many years. It was my dream to end on the final table, but wow, it's shocking.
It's quite all right, man. Hey, it's a dream come true for this guy. Let's get a big round of applause for the biggest EPT main event champion of all time, Piotr Nijinsky.
Besting a field of 1,931 total entries. And here's how it finished at the final table. Tequirpe first man out, 287k. Rodrigo Carmo then went in fifth, cashing for 354,000 euros. Then came the four-way deal, an ICM chop. Marks locked up 698k, 725,000 euros. Seven-figure scores for the top two, plus platinum passes. One gets 1,023,701 euros. Nijinsky's the champion, 1,037,109 euros. And now it's time for the winner's presentation. Give that man his trophy.
Hello and welcome to the winner's presentation for the record-breaking 2018 EPT Barcelona main event. With me on stage is tournament director Toby Stone and poker manager for Casino Barcelona, Raul Horta. It's 15 times we've been here in Barcelona. Every time it is the most popular stop on the tour. After 6 days of hard-fought poker, we finally have a winner. Now, before we get to that, I do want to congratulate Hao Zhang Wang. Well played, sir. You did not win the main event here, but because Piotr won the qualifier last longer, you are getting a $30,000 platinum pass to the Bahamas. And now for our winner who has bested a monster field to take this down today. Congratulations, Piotr Nijinsky. You walk away with over €1 million, but also the second platinum pass of this final table. Looking forward to seeing you in January for the PokerStars Players Championship. Now there's just one thing left to do. Senor Horta, give that man his trophy.
But that's it from the EPT here in Spain. From Joe Stapleton, from Randy Lou, Benjamin Spragg, Finton Hand, from the entire production team, and me, James Hartigan, it's good night from Barcelona.
Pound is 600,000 for Alexander, 550,000 for David.
Another domination nation situation. All kinds of paint.
David calls.
So Stevic raises to 85,000. O'Callaghan calls, and once again it's domination nation. And it's a queen high flop.
Is now the time for justice.
Justice.
Alexander bets 135,000.
Go.
David calls.
Really tough to tell the size of Stevic's stack with his chips all over the place.
5 queen deuce, turn card.
Oh, this is going to be impossible for O'Callaghan to escape from now.
GNGG.
All in and a call. And for the third time, by my calculations, Stevic is in a position to win this thing.
3 queens, kicker check.
This one feels like the one, though.
O'Callaghan
86%, one card to come.
looking for his lucky jack. Does not hit on the river, and finally it's over. And this is the moment that Alexander Stevic became the inaugural European Poker Tour champion.
James, I just noticed a huge mistake. That was a 4-star hand versus a 4-star hand.
Some 4-star hands are better than others.
This is pretty cool, though, huh? Look at this emotion.
Crucial information left off the graphics. A great moment. And it all gets ruined by someone knocking over their lunch.
That was me, guy, knocked that glass over. Hello, my babies. Welcome back to EPT 2022 from the city of Barcelona. Live coverage of day 4 of the main event from Casino Barcelona. A record-breaking event, 2,294 players, 20 remain. Here are the top 5. Michael Pinto with nearly 10 million in chips. Just around, I don't know, 175 big blinds. No big deal with 20 players remaining. Kahan Mokri has been all over the leaderboard this entire week and remains in the number 2 spot. Patrick Yarrow, Scott Margerison just knocked out 2 players before the break to bring us from 22 down to 20. And Giuliano Bendinelli rounding out the top 5. Joe Stapleton alongside Maria Ho.
Hi.
And Nicholas Walsh. Nick Walsh.
Hello, hello.
Here's our feature table. A little bit over a third of the field now represented at the feature table. Patrick Yaros, the chip leader. Cal Dussault, former EPT champ, still in the mix. Jack Salter, former EPT runner-up, still in the mix. Was a tough level for Jack before the break. Secondary feature table representing another third of the field does contain Michael Pinto, the overall chip leader, number 5 in chips overall. Bendinelli, Valentin Marius Cristea, you're Romania, and Lucas Rocha, who was down to half a big blind a few hours ago and is now floating, at least, no longer treading water. What are they playing for? Of course, money. lots and lots of money. 20 players remain, 10 standing between themselves and a 6-figure payday. Nearly $200,000 for 8th, $250,000 for 7th, over $500,000 for 4th, nearly $750,000 for 3rd, $1 million for 2nd, and $1.7 million for 1st, and the trophy, which is dang clean right now. Somebody spit shine that during the dinner break.
I'm fun.
We're coming back with blinds at 30,000, 60,000 with a 60,000 big blind ante.
Joe, did you remember to tip the trophy shine boy?
I did. I tip everybody.
He's a good tipper.
Another reason I'll never be a winning player.
Thank you.
Just tip 4 big blinds every time I win a pot.
But you never win a pot.
Look, I'll drag I'll get a walk every once in a while and then tip my big blind.
Or you'll like ask for change back, but they won't hear you, or they'll pretend to not hear you, and then you just won't ask for it again.
That too.
It's too embarrassing
That's
at that point.
That's my MO too, Joe. Don't worry.
Look, I had a hilarious situation at the player party. So the player party, they had people doing massages.
Oh.
Pocket queens.
I've got a funny story about this too.
Pocket queens for Costa. So they have a person doing massages, and she's like, "Look, it's pay what you want. You know, I'm not allowed to charge you. But you can pay what you want." And so I paid her, and as I was talking to a friend of mine the entire time, and as I was paying her, he hands me 100 euros, and I'm like, "Wow, this is really generous. Like, do you want change?" And he's like, "No." I'm like, okay. So I give her the 100 euros, and she walks away. And he goes, what'd you do? And I was like, I don't know why you tipped her 100 euros. I wasn't tipping her 100 euros. You dropped that. I was handing it back to you.
Oh, my God.
So I paid 120 euros for like a 14-minute massage.
Oh, my gosh. Stapes. It kind of sounds like between that and a couple other stories we've heard, you've lost quite a bit of money in pounds, in euros over the last
I just
few
light money
weeks.
on fire wherever I go.
I don't know what we're going to do with you.
All right, we'll hear Nick's story in a second.
Yeah.
Let's see what develops from this hand. 3-bet from Machado.
Yeah, let's jump back in here, guys. A little bit of a thing brewing here. So Costa still has about 47 big blinds behind. And he's all in. I think that'll be the end of that.
Yeah,
Maria.
now you're like, just kidding. Just kidding.
I think this is a pretty legit 3-bet with ace-10. It's not exactly a bluff. And he's going to take it down.
SC174 says, glad that massage had a happy ending for the masseuse. You got a massage story from the party, Nick?
I do. Yeah. So it was actually somewhat similar. So I didn't actually have any euros on me. So I reach around for I reach to my friends and I go, hey, does anybody have any euros? And one person says, oh, I've only got 15. And I thought, okay, it's usually like €1 a minute, for a massage.
15 seems okay.
But she did a really great job, and I was paying for a friend of mine. And I sort of said, well, that's not enough. And then I said, does anyone else have anything? So my friend goes, yeah, I got a 50. I said, that's perfect. So I hand the 50 to my friend who got the massage. She snaps it up, hands it straight back to the girl. The girl says, thank you very much, and that's the end of it. And I went, and then I looked at the girl, and she gave me such a nice smile. And I went, am I really going to be the guy that's like, sorry, would you change? Yeah.
Yeah.
And, same deal. But, I mean, it did look like a pretty luxurious massage. So maybe it was worth it.
All right, Jack Salter, maybe, just maybe, a little din-din, a little din-din in your tum-tum will do you some good. Pocket kings. Yeah, it's hard to ask for change in that spot. I most of my money, most of my budget, like if you were to look at like a pie chart of what I spend money on, saving myself from embarrassment is probably like 80% of my discretionary income.
Oh.
Yeah.
Machado, this time just calls the ace-jack, decides to not get cute. What if an ace hits here? Maybe it's not over for Salter.
Okay.
Okay, all right. See?
Things
change
may
your
have-
mind,
yeah.
change your life. I don't know. How does it work? Is there a phrase for this?
Was that a Tony Robbins thing?
Something like that.
Change your mind, change your life.
I don't know. One of these idiots on poker Twitter.
Oh gosh.
When you run bad, it's to humble you, to bring you back down to the Mother Earth poker star soul being.
The downswing is just a correction in your ego.
Yeah, that. Anyway, maybe flopping a set of kings is bad. Like, you don't want the ace to hit, but what can your opponent have when you flop a set of kings?
Yeah, and considering Machado never bet when check 2 in this pot, now Jack Salter is going to have to do the betting himself. Not a bad river, though, to potentially get called by ace high with the sevens pairing, but certainly don't think you can check it over to your opponent for the third time. You just have so much board coverage. Looks like your opponent just wants to go to showdown.
Pick Darius in Twitch chat says, no, it's save the cheerleader, save the world. That's what it was.
What is that from? It's something I've seen. I just don't remember.
It's from Heroes.
Oh, right.
Lol.
Didn't care for Heroes, but now I remember that.
Well played, sir.
Overbet here by Salter.
I dig it.
Yeah, but it just doesn't ever feel like a bluffy line, in my opinion. But Machado gonna give it a think here with the ace high.
I like it when you guys run through the bluffs that it could be. What bluffs are they here? Queen Jack?
I don't really see Queen Jack
All right.
checking flop and
Got the
turn
call.
as the pre-flop aggressor. Yeah.
Apparently, Jack Salter did save the cheerleader on dinner break.
I like it.
So he could flop the world?
Which hand? Share with me. Nothing.
Where the guy you play with this guy? He shove the river.
Queen. Fuck,
Nice play.
He's got to feel better about that.
Nice play.
Thank you.
Jack Salter rocking the EPT Barcelona 2022 bucket hat.
Okay. So I label you as a bluffer, is the moral of the story.
Next is value, huh?
Sorry?
Next is value. Balance?
Do you think Jack Salter would sign my bucket hat if I asked him?
I think he would.
One bluff by day.
One bluff by day?
As long as you got 50 euro.
Jack has a brother who used to play on the tour sometimes.
Walter Salter.
Lewis Salter, but close. But I just haven't seen him as of late.
Who am I thinking of?
There can be only one Salter.
Euros, ace deuce on the button.
Not lacking chips here. 109 big blinds to start the hand. Probably something close to 111. Before he raised.
XCOM says, better call Salter. Ace, Jack, 4, monotone board. Top pair for Yaris. Second pair for Kowalski.
Check.
Kowalski checks. Action on Yaris. Checks behind.
Just a little bit of pot control, which leads to having top and bottom 2 pair.
Yeah, really cool pot control here from Yaros on the flop. On the turn, though, you got a little bit more of something to protect now, right? You're a little bit more confident you have the best hand, and you want to try and get value from some of those hearts. I imagine Kowalski's probably going to call at least one street here, right? Especially given the flop check, which I think is a little bit more unconventional, given the fact he had top pair. All right, he's coming along for one. He's in bad shape, though. Looking for like a jack.
There's a whole card to come. That is not it.
Not to be concerned with a hold card.
Yeah, and depending on the sizing, I could see Kowalski potentially calling again. That 6 of clubs. It's a pretty safe river for the king-jack if you consider your opponent betting the turn with any type of semi-bluff.
He bets 550K on the river. Really like this size. It's enough to make it look like he might still be bluffing, but not so small that you're not getting value from your hand. And if you bet smaller against a good player, I think they're going to pick up on the fact you probably want to call in this kind of a texture. So I think 550 is a real sweet spot.
Definitely just factoring the point being Jaros having, you know, a huge chip lead at this table, plus opening from the button. Certainly not necessarily a situation where you would be giving them a whole lot of credit. And you see Kowalski putting the chips in.
I have so much respect for people who can call these bets. I'm just like, I don't even have top pair. How can I possibly call this? I fold. That's what they call exploitative.
But even when they're wrong, though, you have respect for them. Just to be able to
Yes.
call without the nuts.
I just insta-fold there every single time. I'm like, oh, I have a jack. There's an ace out there. I probably don't have the best hand. I fold.
Solution. How to...
Oh, boy. Somebody just got knocked out in 20th place, and it's Ryan Yu. This whole time we could have been calling him Ryu. Hadoukened right out of here. 56,000 euros. Wonder who knocked him out, Blanca, Dalzim. Hopefully not Ken, because that's just a
I mean, why not Chung Lee?
Chung Lee, sure.
Oh, damn, good shout. Everybody loves Chung Lee.
What do you call that lightning kick she does?
Ooh.
Oh.
That's cheap. Don't do that. That's a cheap move. Not allowed to do that.
No, a cheap move is being Blanca and shocking
Just shocking
everybody.
people.
Yeah.
Or the 1,000-hand slap from E Honda. That was kind of cheap.
Static shock.
When you speak with me, speak slowly.
You know, finishing in 20th is definitely the spot where it's like, yeah, you did make a bit of money, but it hurts so bad.
So much.
You played, you know, what, 4.5 days now. You have survived a massive field, and yet can't get to that final table.
Yeah, tantalizingly close to some serious paydays. Still, congratulations on your deep run, sir.
Salter taking the bottom of his range and raising against a pre-flop limp.
I mean, too bad Jack 9 is just everybody's lucky hand. You never get anyone a full Jack 9. Suited, offsuit.
Oh, hello.
I mean, you flop a straight draw with it, what, 80% of the time?
60% of the time, it works every time.
60%, I'll take that.
There's definitely better boards for the pre-flop aggressor to c-bet on than this one, knowing that in Kowalski's limp calling range pre-flop, it's going to contain a lot of these middling cards.
Yeah. No, I absolutely love this, Maria. I think the ISO preflop is just cool as hell. I really, really love when people use this position to their advantage with a really super wide range. If you're doing it with trade use, you're going to be doing it pretty much 100%, except for some of those like medium strength hands that you don't want to get like limp raised off, you know, hands that have really good playability like 9-10 suited, Jack 10 suited, that kind of thing. it wouldn't be a mistake to raise them per se, but you definitely want to realize the value of those combos in position and not be forced to fold them if your opponent is going to get tricky with like a limp raise situation. But as played, like once you choose to play those combinations, it's really cool to see that he has checks in these situations when he's aware of the fact that a lot of the stuff that does like the limp call will just connect with those boards. Let's not go crazy. I know this is a spot where I can make a lot of money by c-betting, you know, extremely aggressively. I just got to pick and choose my moments, and I think that shows a lot of discipline and didn't want to run away with it there. Didn't want to go too overboard, and I like to see that.
I liked it, Nick, even if Maria's just going to shake her head at you.
Oh, no, I nodded. Oh, well, Stapes, you know, I always agree with Nick.
I did not hit the flop.
Drop Step asking, how many more levels are planned for today? That's a good question. I think the most we're going to play is the rest of this level and one more. If we get to 16 before that, I think there'll be some discussion whether or not we should continue.
Well, we know what you would vote for, Stapes. And I agree with you on this one.
I think, yeah. And by the way, I'm in no way trying to undermine the people who really make the decisions here, because I have one opinion, and there's a lot of factors I don't consider. Based on the one thing that I care about, I think we should play through the 6 levels no matter what. Because it's kind of a bummer when the final table ends at like 5 o'clock in the morning. And I would rather get the late nights out of the way now and have the final table end at a reasonable time. Or like just be like, hey, guys, we got there early tonight. Good GG. And then tomorrow we end up having to play till 4 in the morning to get down to, 8 or 6 or whatever. So trips for Costa, but there's a lot of other factors at play. And that's why it's not my decision, because I'm only looking at it from one angle.
Costa flopping trips in a spot where Kowalski, is very often going to just be c-betting this texture.
Well, this is fun. This is fun.
Stapes is forgetting to factor in that on Friday nights it's happy hour.
Is it Friday? Oh, it is Friday night, isn't it?
From 11 onwards. So, let's get down there, guys. 16. GG.
Every hour is happy hour at Barcelona.
I was going to say, and if there was a happy hour, I think 11 p.m. sounds about right, because these people are night owls.
They really
here,
are.
Man.
They really are. I jest. I don't actually know if there's happy hour down on the beach this evening, but they're like, oh, you going out tonight? You're like, sure. And they're like, cool. Well, you grab some dinner, and I'll meet you at midnight. And you're like, sorry, what? And they're like, yeah, we'll get there at midnight, middle of the night, and then we'll stay till 6. And you're like, cool. Cool.
Well, luckily for Kowalski, does not improve on the Queen of Diamonds.
Yeah, Costa elected to go for the check raise right away on the flop, and Kowalski continued, but it's got to look pretty strong when somebody check raises King 8-8, because it's a little bit more dry than, say, 7-7-5 in terms of possible straight draws, et cetera, not to mention Kowalski having the ace of spades in their hand takes away a few of the flush draw combinations that maybe Costa would have check raised with. But you know what? For this size, Kowalski is stubborn and going to come along.
Yeah. It's one of those interesting spots where you're either, it doesn't really change much, but yeah, he does boat up on the river. It's one of those spots where like some players only ever check raise with an 8 here, and then there's other players that are like, oh, board is so dry, I always check raise here because they're going to see bet too wide, and then people just go ham with 7 high or something like that, So this is where having some notes on your opponent, some mental notes even, you know, or just like, you know, having any information as to whether or not they would actually have some bluffs as a check raise on this flop is super useful. Against some opponents, ace high is the absolute nuts. As soon as they check raise, they just always have air. That's why having a balanced check raise range on this flop is very, very important.
1.2.
Wow, reaches for a lot of chips here. I think he goes full pot.
Pot, 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 pot.
I think he said 1.2 mil, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there it
Oh,
is.
excuse me, but the pot was 1.22 mil.
Okay, who else votes? He does that voice for the rest of the evening.
I think the issue with being sticky here for Kowalski is that, you know,
No.
yeah, you just, most of the players that are going to check raise really wide on the flop,
Aren't going to slow down.
they will slow down once you call the check raise, then the turn bet.
Right.
So can't imagine ever being able to reasonably hero there with ace high.
Yeah, pretty savage.
We've been focused here on our main feature table. There are 2 more tables out there now. Final 3 tables.
Yeah, it'd be much nicer if they just put this.
We're going to take a peek over at the 3rd feature table. Not worse, just 3rd. And it looks like a Lillo's in a pot, but something actually happening on the secondary feature table. It looks like we've got Marius Cristea Valentine with aces. Toro, Sebastian Toro, we haven't seen much from. I think he's the guy in the goofy hoodie with deuces. And our old pal Rosha, chipping a chair. Rosha with Queen X.
It's so nice when you're here to say it, Stapes. You know, it just feels right when you get to say chip in a chair. I feel bad even saying it.
No, I want people to use
but
it.
I don't want people to think that I
You're
came
Romanian.
up with it. So
I don't mind.
No
The
bluff,
thing
no
is, I don't really. It's one of those things that I'm just happy to be out in the public domain. I've invented so many things that are common poker parlance now. Race situations, congratulations. Everyone loves a chop pot. That was actually hard again. And so chip in a chair is just my gift to the world. And the thing is, when I came up with it in 2014, like the people in the booth, they knew it was going to be a thing. Like everyone just kind of felt it. It was like one of those moments where like, you knew. I was like, we're just onto something here.
yeah, and 8 years later, you hear it all the time.
Is it really 8 years that phrase has been around? That's crazy. It feels much shorter.
Artisanal sourdough, of course.
Artisanal sourdough, sure.
I mean, you know, I remember I walked in, Stapes was making breakfast. He goes, hey, try some of this bread. And I was like, dude, this is delicious. What do you call this? He goes, oh, well, it's called sourdough, but I make it real good.
Sounds just like me. You've really got my cadence down perfectly. It's real good.
I mean, and they sell it at Pret-a-Manger now.
Pret-a-Manger?
Pret-a-Manger.
Pret-a-Manger.
Next thing you know, worldwide phenomenon.
MXC Raider says, thought Johnny Chan came up with that. Nope, that was me, Joe Stapleton.
American Airlines?
American Airlines was a me and Hardigan co-production, sure.
So popular, an entire airline named themselves after it.
So Sid Hoffman says, fun fact, I just followed Joe on Twitch. Guys, please do not follow me on Twitch or on Twitter or on Instagram, because every time someone follows me, it pings my phone. And it's annoying. All the notifications are so annoying. Please don't. It's someone's doing it already. Okay. How do I silence this? I don't know how to turn the notification. I shouldn't have said anything. Pega under the gun, ace-10 suited. One more hand at the secondary feature table. I can't believe there's another Toro. That's fantastic.
So is Cristea the only qualifier left in the field? Because I do believe he is a qualifier. I just don't know if there's anybody else left that is also one. But doesn't seem like you guys know either, so we'll just move on.
There were a few qualifiers in this event, but they were qualifiers with quite a bit of earnings to their names. So we try not to
highlight it too much because
Yeah.
they just qualified because they're good at poker and they want a Sadie.
Yeah. There's not like an $11 Cinderella story out there somewhere. Bendinelli makes the call. Cristea, for example, at this table, who just had the aces moments ago, is in for $55.
That's a real qualifier.
The part we're not telling you is $45 million in earnings. One heart on this flop. I feel like if you combine their hands, there'd be something good. There you go. Uh-oh.
Well,
Yikes.
now, most definitely plenty of reason for both players to find a continue.
Yeah, 8-9 with the double gut shot, the double gutter, the double belly buster.
Okay, we're not giving States credit for belly buster.
I did not come
Everybody
up.
knows
I did
that.
not come up with belly buster.
Yeah.
Long before my time.
Yeah.
I think it was because if you drew to an inside straight and made it, they would shoot you in the stomach.
Stop.
Just like if you check raised.
You know, I'm pretty gullible, Stapes, but no, not
Whatever,
not
ask
that,
Doyle.
That one's not getting past me.
That's Doyle. Oh, it's a brick for both players.
Well, that's no fun. We would have liked to see a little bloodshed.
Yeah, except blockers are totally real and there were no hearts left.
But you also know you can't win at showdown with 9 high, so perhaps do you want to take fate into your own hands?
No. Oh, you weren't asking me. That was rhetorical. Okay, got it. 2 cream, 2 sugar says bomb it.
Ace-10 has a lot of showdown here when the board pairs.
And Ace-10 is going to win at showdown. Pega.
For me? Yeah. But, I mean, it's a hard.
It's a good feeling. You get to showdown, you're like, whatever, I got ace-high. Oh, I win? Hey, thanks. That was cool.
But it's not a good feeling if you see that your opponent had the worst heart draw, and you're like, why didn't the heart come?
You had an awesome draw. It would have sent him broke.
So we have mentioned a few times some of the cool swag that's out there. There's a pretty loud poker-themed hoodie happening at that secondary feature table. As we come back to the main feature table, we'll see some of the cooler Barcelona branded stuff. All that stuff, that hoodie, available in the store physically here in Barcelona, but also in the Stars store. You can get it online. If you're not like Maria Ho and you don't get everything for free, you can go buy it online.
I'm shocked that a whole 2 hours have gone by after I said that on air, and I still
No one just brought it over
no
to
swag
you.
bag has magically appeared. Unbelievable.
Ooh,
Is
that's
anybody
annoying.
listening?
Machado turned the straight and also rivered the straight, and so did Yaros. Okay, what do you guys think about this? If there's a straight on board, but you already have the straight, you should get a little bit more than the person that has none of the cards in their hand.
So when they chop the pot, it's really like you should get
3
3/4.
quarters.
Is it like getting quartered in like split pocket?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yaros smiling. Just going to fold the chop because nobody wants to hear me sing the song.
Correct. Yeah, they're trying to avoid it. Blizz says he paid to wear that hoodie. I mean, your dad paid to take your mom out to dinner at least once. People make bad decisions.
Wow. Deep.
I was going to say, that felt a little extreme.
Was that too hard?
Yeah, that was a little
For
harsh.
the record, I've never met his mom.
Wow. Anyway, hand number 117. Blinds are still 30K, 60K, guys, with a 60K ante.
Stapes needs a timeout after that, I think.
Let's talk about some poker for a little while, guys. Salter, UTG +1, making the fold.
I don't know what's so offensive about that. Is it sexist that the man paid for the whole meal? Is that what the problem is?
Cali D's going to open this pot up from the cutoff with pocket threes.
Remember that one time when I talked about your mom, Stapes? Remember?
Yeah, then I called my mom and ratted on you, and she wouldn't say anything bad about you.
Oh, sweet lady.
Do you remember that time your mom fell asleep on the rail, Joe?
That's true.
Oh, who
That
is
did
cuter
happen.
than
That happened at
Mom?
the very last EPT.
That's right.
Monte Carlo. Or as I like to call it, Mommy Carlo.
Mommy Carl.
Do you know James Hardigan has been running a pool for the last 10 years about me being stabbed?
What?
Like offering odds into like at what point I'm going to get stabbed and by who?
And in like what location?
Well, what do you mean? Like what building I'm in, or like what city, or like what part of my body?
This feels too dark. I mean, you don't deserve it, Stapes.
If it's
no
going to
matter
run
what
for
you
10 years,
said.
I want there to be a lot of detail in this pool. I want there to be bonus points.
You can just have like a parlay. It's like ex-girlfriend in the kidney.
In Monte Carlo.
European soil. Yeah.
I think you're more likely to get stabbed by someone who's just a super fan of yours, like a stalker.
James's
right?
money is on like someone who
Unless
loves me.
So,
Yeah.
Right, unless
Yeah.
so someone who you've offended. Yeah.
Yeah, no, James's money is on like a couple dudes in chat that are like really into me.
Super stans.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna go multi-way to this flop. Three suited hands, almost all the suits covered. Pick me, dealer. The one unrepresented suit. Jack, 7, Trey, 2 spades. LDev, to answer your question, not a single drop of Patron has been consumed.
Not today.
I'm just giddy about this event. Record-breaking event. Live poker, alive and well.
Yeah, it feels great. Jaros is the last person to act here. He has the initiative. It's probably a bet here. 420K to begin with. He's going to bet 250K. Pretty chunky into two opponents here, but I feel like it might work. Kowalski does have a pair.
Yeah.
He probably should come along here.
There goes Hartunian.
Oh, hello. Okay. I was about to say, I think the small blind's in a really weird situation with a player to act behind, which is probably why we see the fold. Kowalski closing out the action, now heads up. He's got the backdoor hearts. Yeah, I think this is pretty reasonable.
Wow.
Wow, does fold it though. Fair play, that larger size being effective there for Jaros. And he is going to be up to 131 big blinds now.
Still leader of the pack at this feature table. Costa second with 70 big blinds. Machado, who is the overnight chip leader, down to 48 big blinds. 47 for So, 40 for Salter, Kowalski 28. The short stack is Tigran Hartunian. 13 big blinds. Old Soldier says People's Tapes has offended equals anyone who actually paid to see his stand-up. Sorry, I'm just picking up the pieces of my shattered life after reading that comment.
I mean, I've paid to see you before, Stapes.
I have too on multiple occasions.
Yeah, but at least 2 of them I genuinely did suck.
No, Stapes.
You were paying to see Norm Macdonald, and luckily his opener was Joe Stapleton.
I don't think that not going well was your fault,
It
though.
was. It's one of the few times it really was not my fault.
Paging Jack Salter, you have a chip on the rail that is covering your whole card cam should the RFID not work. So
Oh, Slum says, I've seen Joe. He's funny. Thanks, Slum. My Zumo just said saw me in my last night in Edinburgh, too. He said it was a pleasure, though. He didn't say it was funny.
Oh, Jack Salter trying to do a little
All
something,
right.
something.
Jack Salter does not falter. 3-betting into some hands that could fold to 3 bets.
Machado just observing his estate. Look at this manor I've built for myself. I think I'll retain that.
Yeah, it's kind of hard when you flat from the small blind, and you almost expect that more often than not, a capable player in the big blind is just going to look at that and be like, oh, this is a good squeeze spot. And it's just a little unfortunate that ace-8 of clubs is maybe a little bit too weak to play out of position, especially against Salter's stack size. Just kind of unsure how to proceed.
So in yesterday's Mystery Bounty Tournament, one of the prizes was a red spade pass.
Present you with a Grand Prix red spade pass, which you've won here at EPT Barcelona. Congratulations, you have a great time.
Yeah, thank you so much. I managed to get a knockout in the Mystery Bounty Tournament, and the first one I drew was the red spade pass. So I know I was going to Brazil to watch the Grand Prix, watch every race, and so does my brother, so he's coming with me for sure. It's like the VIP treatment, so it sounds great. Dream come true.
Yeah, and in case you didn't pick up on what the red spade pass was, there's a platinum pass given away yesterday, which is cool. In a lot of ways, a red spade pass could be more coveted because you don't have to play a poker tournament. F1, we've got Hartunian all in here. May not get through for 13 big blinds. Doesn't get through. So F1, first of all, is like the fastest growing spectator sport in the world right now. Like, people are going bananas for F1. People that never even liked sports before are super into F1. It's impossible to get these tickets. The Monaco Grand Prix we gave away some prizes this year. We're partnered with Red Bull Racing. So we gave away some Monaco Grand Prix packages this year. Everyone in the company goes bananas. You remember, Maria, when I tweeted about this?
Yes.
And like Don Cheadle and Mike Lee and Black were like, I want one, I want one.
I chimed in. I was trying desperately to be a part of it.
Yeah. So in this mystery bounty, there was something called a red spade pass. And this fellow who pulled it, him and a friend are going to the Brazil Grand Prix in Sao Paulo. 3 days there. Flights, rooms, food, beverage. What I assume is going to be a pretty dank spot to watch the race from. More than likely going to meet PokerStars ambassadors, whatever other celebrities are able to finagle their way into getting these things. Activities, other prizes, all part of this collaboration with Red Bull Racing. And look, I can't win a platinum pass. I can't play the event anyway. I would definitely take one of these. And I'm just going to reiterate this. I've said this before, and I've said it again. When you win a red spade pass, you get a +1. you would have a blast if you took me. You would have an absolute good time, I promise you. And if someone comes at you to stab you, I'll be right next to you. And there's more than likely I can absorb that for you. Multiple reasons is all I'm saying. Salter maybe misstepping here slightly, 3-betting into these jacks.
Yeah, Kowalski started the hand with about 27 bigs or so, and those are definitely going to go in here with jacks cut off versus button.
Noon Droid, who says, so my strategy is to drive fast and turn left. You're thinking of NASCAR.
Yeah.
Which I can admit, until we do a partnership with them, is pretty tedious.
Maybe less.
Salter making this look good, I think, before he folds. In F1, in many cases, they're driving around city streets, hairpin turns, hundreds of miles an hour, extremely dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, I will be the first to admit that I knew nothing about F1 until Drive to Survive came out on
I
Netflix.
think that's kind of like the rounders of F1. Yeah. It's really bringing a lot of people to the sport.
I am obsessed. It is so well done. The storylines are super compelling. And I mean, Red Bull Racing, what a better partner to have. I mean, they're leading the championship right now. They've got Max Verstappen at the wheel. They're their #1 driver, taking Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, they're actually, like, the team's pretty good, too, right?
No, the best right now.
Yeah.
Well, they got the best driver.
It's not like we're partnered with Spraggy's soccer team. These are, like, legit contenders.
Spraggy's soccer.
If you were considering taking Stapes as your +1, Ken Vouch will show you a good time.
That's one way to play it, Nick. I think I'm going to do my pitch now for why someone should bring me as a +1.
Okay. Wait to hear what she has to say, guys, and then I'll decide whether or not I'm going to vouch for Maria.
Okay, well, I can't say that I would necessarily get shanked for somebody, so that part, not going to beat Stapes out on that one. But what I can say is I will buy all the drinks if you bring me, and I feel like Stapes could at least vouch for that.
True, but drinks will be covered more than likely.
Okay, fine.
Nice
right,
try.
well,
I've tried this one with Maria many times. Buy you a drink. She's like, it's open bar, you dingus. 3-bet here from So. Here, look, Maria is also a great choice. I don't really see her accepting a trip with a stranger, whereas I would. But also, I just want to let you know that if Maria has an early flight in the morning, she might make you ride in the Uber with her to the airport.
Okay, please, Stapes. You told me that you said this on air right after it happened, and people agreed with me. So I really don't feel like you want to bring this up and embarrass yourself again for what a lack of a gent you are.
All right. So you guys are pretty cool. I can vouch for both. Very cool. But here's my pitch.
Hold on one second. Kowalski all in.
Okay.
So could potentially call and knock Kowalski out. So's got Kowalski covered. Has the better hand. Does so want to potentially gamble with sevens.
Yeah, just over 32 bigs or so for Kowalski.
It's a lot, isn't it, Maria?
It is.
I mean, even though we are still 19, the ICM pressure here is definitely going to be felt. I imagine he's probably going to be folding the best hand here a lot of the time. He does fold.
Does, in fact, let it go.
All right, so here's my pitch. These guys are great, sure. Can vouch for that. If I'm the +1 to Sao Paulo F1.
Oh, wait. I didn't know we were going to get a third option here. Okay.
Okay, I just thought this up. If I am the +1 to Sao Paulo, you, the individual who's taking me as the +1, can be my +1 to the PSPC.
Oh, wow.
Wait, do you have a platinum pass?
I mean, I'm going to be there.
So he's just going to come out of pocket for this then. It's not even like he's trading a +1 for a +1 or something.
Yeah, exactly. This is I don't already have a +1 locked down. I'm going to be there for commentary, but I don't have a platinum pass locked up.
I don't know if we can compete with that, Stapes.
I mean, but as my friend, I don't want to like pick apart the holes in Nick's offer here.
I mean, I know where you're going. I think we should actually. Why don't you go ahead?
If Nick's footing the bill, you don't know where you're going to end up staying. You don't know what he's going to end up feeding you.
I don't mean my +1, and I'm going to put him in like the Novotel next door to like Nassau or whatever, like airport.
I think you're right, Stapes. Everyone should be aware of the fine print with this one, and
yeah.
So really, it's just back to being between me and you, Stapes.
Because being Nick's +1 to the PSPC doesn't mean you get to play it.
No, but you do get to hang out with Stapes and Rio, so I guess it's a win-win-win. You guys picked yourselves up. You're so fantastic. You get the benefit of all three.
Galactic Series, France, Spain, and Portugal's answer to the W Coupe, happening through most of the month of September. Full schedule comes out, excuse me. Full schedule will be released August 22nd, not was released August 22nd. Come on, Stapes. Just a couple of days, and there will be Cards Up coverage on Twitch and YouTube from the various local commentary teams. Nicholas asked, Joe, if one day you have a kid, would you want him to be a poker player, or her, be a poker player like Maria Ho, or a comedian like Jerry Seinfeld? I would want them to be a doctor, like Judy Ho.
Right? Like Dr. Judy. The pride and joy of the family, for sure.
Oh, that was a funny bit. All right.
You think it's a bit? I'm still waiting for someone to actually take me.
No, not that.
Okay. I was like, no, this was a real pitch.
All right, so Saul's going to open this up from UTG +1 with ace-4 suited. Yaros in the small blind does make the call with ace-10 off. Still one player to act behind. What's he got? Oh, hello.
Yeah.
Hartunian still the shortest stack. Folds the pocket Haratuz. Nian. Flop is king, tray, 6, 2 clubs. Yaros checks his ace high. Both players with the backdoor spade draw.
Pretty easy continue with Salter with the range advantage, the backdoor.
Yeah.
Flush draw, straight possibility, overcard. Got a lot of stuff working. Players left. Salter decides to pass that spot. You know, trying to get a couple things going, but doesn't want to push the action too much. He's been on a nice steady uptick since we got back from dinner break.
This wouldn't be the most ridiculous squeeze spot, but I feel like you'd rather have ace-5 than ace-7 there. That may seem a little bit unusual to some because ace-7 is technically better than ace-5. Ace-5, however, has slightly better playability. And of course, you can make the straight ace-5. Ace-7 you cannot. That's why ace-6 off, ace-7 off, very poor hands.
And another ace-high flop. Top pair for So.
Yeah, I like a bet here from So. Obviously, seems pretty obvious just bet with top pair, but I think when you think about the ranges you're going to be against there, you're going to run into some Jack X that you're going to get plenty of value from. You're going to run into some 3X and maybe some weird gut shots from the big blind. It's not a spot where you're going to run into tons of dominating ace combos, so it's not a spot where you want to slow down. Plus, you're going to see bet that board as a bluff a lot, so you want to be balanced too.
Very funny boards. You can do samba on this board, yeah?
No, it's hard. Against original razor. No samba. Do you like samba?
Well, I thought things had slowed down for a little bit. But El Nuevo Toro, the new Toro, Sebastian Toro.
Not really, but I just wanted to
Busto.
be sure that I didn't miss anything.
Okay, yeah.
I thought they had banned bullfighting in Barcelona, but this Toro,
Of course.
down for the count, out in 19th, down to 18 players.
I had a bad read. When you looked at your cards, I thought you had pocket queens or something, and then you folded.
When?
Now, I had a bad read. I thought you had a big hand, and then you folded.
Maybe you have a teller.
No, you folded.
Ace king off.
Maybe I make
Jarosz.
You folded queens?
Raising to 1-2-5. It's a little bit, just a hair over a min raise here from the cutoff.
Yeah, Salter can certainly consider defending this 8-3 suited.
Hydration is important.
Who wants to drink that? Don't offer them the last few sips.
Kowalski knows. Ace king still the best hand?
It's me. It's me. It's me, big blind. No, it's not me. It's not me. It's a jack.
I'm sorry, Turka, but yes, Andre Marquez is out.
I love this bet size, guys. So small on this board, and I just, you can just bet and take it down for such a small size here. There's no reason to go big. If you get check raise for this size as well, you can just be like, yeah, sure, go on then. Show me what you got. You really check raising at 10? Let's see a turn. You can still have an ace, a king, a queen.
Oh, I think the sizing is what is getting Salter to attack, feeling like there's just going to be too many C-bets coming from the pre-flop aggressor, and this is a good chance to maybe pounce.
This is a snap call, Maria.
Yeah.
I'm right there with him. He knows what's going on. If he's the kind of guy that uses this size, do you think he's ever folding to a check raise here? Get out of town.
Yeah, but for Salter, certainly some turn cards that could make it a little easier for him to barrel again.
Yep.
A diamond, a 9. Okay, well, that's pretty bricky.
Yeah, I mean, Gio, with that, what's really funny here is Jarosz has actually been very, very stoic. He was so disgusted by that check raise. He was like, yeah, how much?
He was offended.
He was like, don't be ridiculous. I'm definitely calling.
So
something funny, please. I think it's something funny. there.
200,
So
this is
once
funny.
No,
my
I
check
think
raise
you
gets
have-
called,
I think you did something
You
really
think
funny.
Samba? You think Samba on 10-10 erased me? You can also, eh?
I did something funny too, so I want to see something funny.
I have very fun hands.
You know what? I'm so glad that we had that conversation just before that played out because it just goes to prove the point. It's just awesome to see. Small C-bet. Don't you dare check raise me on this flop. It's embarrassing what you're doing here.
How many Samba poker
Something funny,
Ooh.
please.
Oh.
I think
Martin
it's something
O'Lally.
This is funny.
No, I think
This
you
is
have.
joke.
I think
Shoved
you did
ace
something-
queen
You think
into
Samba-
K
you think
hand
Samba on 10-10
Mockery's
erased me?
ace
You can
king
also, eh?
and did
I did
not
something
get
funny
there
Too, so I want to see something funny.
out in
I have
18th
I have very
for
fun
56,460 euros. And I'm being told one more elimination and we're done for the day.
Yeah, nice run though for Alali. Was at the feature table earlier
Samba poker
and
team.
picked some
How
good
many
spots to
Something
get
funny,
involved.
please. I think it's something funny. there.
And that sweet Barcelona tee,
Samba
which looked fantastic on Martin O'Lally. You can get that at the store here or online.
Martin O'Lally. Well played, sir. It was a pleasure following the action.
Stapes, I'll take a size medium, if you please.
If that's what
Thank
you want
you.
instead of the dinner I owe you, I can get you a T-shirt.
I mean, come on. That's got to be in addition. Remember you said there's interest. It's been so long since you owed me that
Why did I
dinner.
offer interest? That was dumb.
Well, you did, and I'm going to take you up on it.
I think I still owe Stapes like 5 bottles of champagne, but like is there interest on those too?
I don't believe in owing. If I buy everyone champagne, I don't get like, oh, you owe me champagne.
No,
for
of
the
course.
next day.
No. It's in my book. It's not in your book.
No champagne, but there's no interest because champagne's probably better when aged.
That's
so
true.
You're actually just prepping it, priming it for Stapes. This is good.
Okay, I tell you what, I'll buy a brand new bottle and I'll keep it in my cellar for the next 3 years, Stapes, just for you.
Going heads up to this flop, which is Jack high, Jack 9-7, 2 hearts, pair of 9s for so.
I wish I had a cellar
You
to
can
put
turn,
it in.
you can turn Corbel into Dom at that rate in 3 years.
Let's go.
Do you remember on Mythbusters where they proved that you could run really cheap vodka through a Brita filter like 25 times and it turns out the same as like Grey Goose?
Yeah, that's right.
But then they also said it's not nearly time or cost effective enough. You might as well just buy Grey Goose.
We are 17 already.
Honestly, Mythbusters, it was pivotal in my upbringing.
2 pair on the turn for so.
Yeah, not much here for Kowalski. So gonna hope to get to showdown with that little bit of ace-high showdown value in his hand.
And a full house on the river.
Samba.
To go back to that Salter check raise, after my check raise gets called there, I'm just praying that I don't get to showdown.
So you don't have to show a check raise.
To show, yeah. I could just act like I got bad beat on the turn or something.
He folded pretty quick on the turn, so I think he kind of felt the same way,
Yeah.
to be honest. All right, that's the end of that hand. So he's going to pick it up. So now up to 46 big blinds, and then he's straight in the small blind.
Not really, no.
Speaking of Mythbusters, you know Adam Savage loves to play poker. He's a
I
big-
did not know that.
he's a
Oh,
big-
wait.
He's a big poker player.
I think I saw something about him. He made his own Rounders chip set.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And I think he has like a weekly game that he's kept between him and his friends for like, years and years and years.
That's cool.
He used to be a really good pool player too.
That makes sense.
Yeah, great guy, Adam Savage. He's like one of my all-time heroes. His autobiography is really good if you haven't read it.
I have it, and I've been in autobiographies lately.
I think it's called Every Tool's a Hammer.
120,000.
Mine would be every... No, never mind. Yash, under the gun, King 9 suited.
Problems? No. No problems? No problem.
Everything's a tool, and I am one. That's what I was trying to think of.
Adam Savage, if you're listening, I would love to meet you, buddy. You're one of my heroes.
Kowalski in the co. Co in the co. Ace-10. 40 bigs.
All right, guys, no cussing. My mom is in the chat.
Oh, hi, Nick's mom. Where is she?
Can we get some waves in the chat? Come on, guys. Support.
I'm often mentioning your mom in the chat.
Yeah, she is lovely.
Where does your mom live, Nick?
In Surrey, England. Yeah, she is from the States originally, though.
Oh, boy.
Oh my God, I
From
have-
King
I'm
9
visual.
to 9-9 to Ace King.
I think this happened today.
Yeah,
It's replay,
this
actually?
is definitely going to be a good reason to put some more chips into the pot.
We dropped the graphics just to get in on whatever move this is going to be. All in.
It's close.
Triangle time.
King 9 quickly folds. Pocket nines. Now, ICM fold has already been invoked. We heard it maybe 20, 30 minutes ago in a similar situation where Caladusseau folded sevens.
Yeah, but nines is getting up there. You know what I mean, Maria?
Yeah, I still think that So's probably going to end up finding the fold for over 40 bigs.
Yeah, it's a lot to call
But
at this stage.
yeah, it's. I think he's definitely sick of folding, but I don't think that this is the spot that he's going to go with.
Like, the power of nines is in situations where you think your opponent could do this with like deuces and trays and fours, but the fewer of those that they have to play this way, your hand just becomes closer and closer to at least a coin flip, you know, if not in an 80-20 scenario.
Yeah, and the pay jumps obviously,
Otherwise you
you
have
know,
kings.
coming into play.
I mean, we're talking about a significant pay jump after this one, which starts at 15th place, and it's 14,000.
I mean, is Machado even going to do this with like eights, Maria? Like,
No.
honestly, that's not even the line I see him taking, so it's just going to be omega strong here, like probably tens plus, and maybe not even tens.
Yeah, he call you.
And I had a
We do see a fold.
then wheels.
He don't three bet. He call you.
I know, yeah, but it was it was
Another story. It's another story.
But it's really close. It was like
Credible.
credible.
Always.
Credible.
Always I three bet. Always. Anytime. Pa. Lucky.
The time before, were you ace queen?
Yes.
I can't say whether it was a good fold or a bad fold without seeing what the run out was going to be.
He have a king.
Yeah, I know.
And this is the person that I continue to take pieces of in tournaments.
I mean, it had to be only a good hand.
A good opens, three bet,
Yeah, it
four
wasn't really
bet.
possible. It had to be something fucking
5
big.
bet, 6 bet.
I think I'm going to be playing a bunch of live poker coming up, Maria. If you've got anything left in the old Stapes fund.
Where are you playing these tournaments? In the States?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go, my next one, I think I'm going to go to a run good stop in San Francisco in the middle of September.
Mon ami.
Mon ami is,
Nick, you want to go halvesies
oh,
with me?
125 or
It
just
depends how much it is, but I think the question, where are you playing this, is extremely apt. You know, like, Stapes could pull it off in the States. If he sits down at EPT Barcelona, I feel like his chances decrease significantly.
I'm definitely My game selection is on point.
I mean, of course, Daves, you know, I always want to take your action.
Well, I'm only offering in this case.
But only if you think you're, do you feel it? Do you feel like you're running, the tide's going to turn? I also need to know how you feel about that.
I mean, it has to.
You go mad.
Okay, don't worry. I like it.
Queen, queen, 7, ace high.
Let me check.
For Yarosh, defending in the big blind is good. So checks it back. Turn card.
You have queen, right?
Is 5.
Check.
Things are chatty. Maybe they'll check it down. Nope.
No, So's like, I need to get some of my chips back.
Delayed C-bet from So.
Maybe you have 7. Maybe?
I call on you go big bet on the river, yeah?
No, why?
Yarosh,
I check
trying to
blind.
predict what he
check
thinks
blind?
So is going to do.
I have quads, what I can do. Monami.
Double paired board on the river. Certainly enough showdown value for both players. So you see So checking back now, the king high.
Ace of spades.
You win, you win, you win.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
The best hand won. Makes me happy.
He opened kings on the button with nothing. Just single king.
Ah, queen. Oh my God.
You have queen? You have queen?
Somebody had queen?
Fish.
You have queen?
See. Give me the chips.
It's not too sure.
Queen.
Queen. Chat, should we start a GoFundMe page for Stapes' buy-ins this year?
You like play with a short stack, my friend?
The love fish.
Queen, king.
I'm offering this to you guys as a privilege, not as a. I don't need.
Patricio is better.
I feel like honestly, I'm offering to
you
Maria
like
because she's
to
taken
play
a bunch
with
of
the
pieces
soft
of me, and I've whiffed recently.
You like?
I like to play general.
And I feel like I owe it to
I
her
like
to
to
give her
play
the
on
option.
What's your markup?
I don't charge
Computer
markup.
game.
Tell me, it's
2.0,
not
just kidding.
Maybe you prefer.
He has variable markup depending on who he's selling to. We're good enough friends that, you know, I get the action at face.
So some of the crazies in the chat are going to be like, oh, Joe, of course I'll back you. Yeah, cool. It's 3.
I need you.
Special is poker team. They swap at least 10%.
My friend, tonight I need you.
Oh.
Tonight you help me for double up.
Oh, that sort of need.
It's nothing. No.
Tonight.
I'm enjoying the table talk. These guys feel pretty relaxed, right? It's like, you know, they're stoic and they're serious, but, you know, after the hand's done, pretty friendly. Nobody seems like they're freaking too hard on the main table here. Our main feature table is the word I was reaching for.
Yeah, you found it, though. You got there eventually.
Machado starting the hand with around 50 bigs, pocket 5s.
It doesn't matter that deep stack is here. Yes, doesn't matter.
Je suis pas 2 millions.
Doesn't matter. Okay. Now I understand you didn't swap there. I mean swap.
Cartoonian just folding
Mon ami.
away his stack at this point. Hasn't really gotten many opportunities to get involved. Obviously, when there's other big stacks at the table and they're playing quite aggressively, you're not going to get many open spots. But he's also not really had any hands.
Jumping.
My friend.
Keeping it snug. Hartunian now with about 11-ish bigs.
Jimmy?
Yeah, quite possibly the shortest stack out of the whole field remaining. I mean, we don't necessarily have eyes on all the other stack sizes, but I think according to some of the live reporting, it feels like about 11 bigs is the shortest stack in the tournament at the moment.
I'm sure he's going to be here now in 1 minute.
If they move him now, it will be actually...
For sure.
Mr. Salter.
Jimmy's still here, actually.
Queen 4 off UTG.
Now I'm on the button. You can go for it.
Does he know it's on him?
He's trying to get rid of timing tells.
Just balancing it
Just
out.
sit there long enough till everyone stops having fun.
He wants everybody to, you know, the heat to be off of Maria Lampropoulou from earlier.
That's
so
right.
now he's just giving chat something else to talk about, somebody else to talk about.
Let's give him something to talk about.
It's interesting.
Khalidou.
It's just
Queen suited.
interesting.
Eight. Whoop. Queen 8 for Kowalski. One heart on this flop. Quick check, check. Kowalski with a gut shot now.
Yeah, definitely good point to consider leading as a semi-bluff. You know, this board feels like it favors Kowalski's range, and if you know that so has ace high or king highs, of course, then you would be really happy to get a fold out of those hands at this point.
Yeah, I think it's a lot easier to check king queen on the flop and then call the turn if it pairs the board. Like deuce 4-7 is like a good turn where you're like, yeah, cool. He's still going to have straight draws. He's going to bet here without beating. He's still going to have complete bluffs. He's still going to have possibly some turn flush draws depending on how the suits fall too. The 5 just feels like it completes a lot of pairs. It makes even more draws. Maybe people have a pair with their straight draw now. I think if you're checking flop, you need to be folding this turn. I like the line, though, from So. Again, if you're going to be opening these pots, you need to be aware of what the big blind's going to defend with. In the modern game, people are going to defend omega wide for that smaller sizing. It's one of the downsides of having the smaller open, but it is GTO. And I love that line from Khalidou. He does get bluffed in this case, but I think he's probably making or losing the minimum in these situations in other spots.
Oh, it's just bluff.
Also just super impressive for like Kowalski, like just absolute nothing. And I'm learning a lot watching this and just seeing that, okay, you don't, one of the things that frustrates me is I just don't make very many hands. And I'm seeing here that folks are winning pots without making hands. And just, it's not just random button mashing. It's not just unbridled aggression. It's well thought out. What could I have in this spot, and what is my opponent less likely to have in this spot? And obviously, when I see it happening, I can identify it. When I'm in the situation, infinitely harder.
Yeah.
But I am cool. It's cool I'm witnessing it.
Yeah, I think the next step is really, you know, identifying it, but then also being willing to take those spots when you identify them. Because for a lot of players, I think that is the disconnect, especially if you are more of a recreational player or you're less experienced. You know, you get to that stage where you recognize that maybe I should be semi-bluffing in this situation, but you're still just a little bit gun shy. So I think just making that connection. And having it work a few times obviously will build your confidence for those spots and make you feel like, oh yeah, so it does work. It works exactly like how I've seen it on stream.
Right.
20 minutes.
Yes.
Okay, so we have Josh with the top pair, Salter with second. Again, really tricky spot to play well because Salter definitely should be defending this hand. When he makes middle pair, it's just so hard to get away from your hand when you've made second pair in this situation. You're playing against an aggressive opponent. They're going to have tons of bluffs on this flop. So a bet and a call on the flop as expected. You can't be folding this combo. No way, no how. I feel like king 10. I think the 10's a good enough kicker to probably want to continue on the turn, Maria. What do you think?
Yeah, I would agree. I think you definitely want to get more than one street of value from this hand, and Josh seems to agree. For Salter, you know, not blocking some of the natural semi-bluffs like the Jack-10 and the Ace-10 does make him a little more inclined to call, but it looks like he's cutting out more than calling chips. No, those are calling chips. Okay, sorry. The brown ones are the 100Ks.
They're clearly labeled calling chips if you take a look there.
I mean, this river's really gonna dictate whether or not Salter loses more or potentially gets lucky here. The 9, okay. I mean, the 9 might be a slowdown for King 10, but when you do have King 10, you're blocking Jack 10 as well, right, Maria? So a little bit less likely they were chasing the Jack 10 straight draw that you might be concerned about. Although, you know, obviously Queen 9, yeah, I like the check here. I think being conservative at this stage when you don't have 2 pair is pretty reasonable. Your opponent will have Queen 7, Queen 9, Queen 3 sometimes, that kind of thing. Sometimes King 9, sometimes King 7, King 3. You got 2 streets of value. You don't want to get check raised on the river. Just check and take it down. That seems good.
He was betting, I was calling, and he won.
It was good. He was calling like always.
Patricio, lot of lucky.
Call.
Yeah, it was a good river.
Everybody on this table, call. You know, Samba? Call. But chips is here now. Are here.
Jaju says, Dear Joe, I am a big fish, but somehow won the Sunday Million on Sunday. Any chance you're going to broadcast it after EPT Barcelona? No, that isn't going to happen, but I'm so sorry I missed it. Congratulations. That's awesome. That's really cool. I guess kind of a bad beat. I guess no one broadcasted, right, since everyone's here? So a bit of a bad beat, but the good news is you won the Sunday Million.
Claps. Congratulations.
And no one can ever take that away from you except for the fact that it wasn't streamed, so who can really tell?
No problem.
No, that's cool, man. That's really cool. Or non-man. I assumed man.
How dare you?
Probably shouldn't have done that, but it's cool, my friend. Very cool. Congratulations.
Give it to me.
Heartunian finally finding something to go with. A pot that is unopened before it gets to him. And a decent enough hand to shove with his stack.
7. Both
these players with sourdough of the store brand variety. Ugh.
He asked for a count, don't tell him the hand. Huh? He asked for a count, don't tell him the hand. Probably if you have 8.
Patrick, Josh, chirpy chips.
I know. I feel like definitely a lot more talkative after the dinner break. Usually people are tired and even less social after dinner, but I don't know what he had, but, well, pep in that step.
Oh, somebody told such a funny story about Yarosh a few minutes ago, and it got by me. It was about how they were playing at a tournament with him in the Czech Republic, and he was like, had like 3/4 of the chips in play with 5 people left, and he just got up and left the tournament because like a 5100 game opened up in the cash game room.
That's funny.
That's where the real money's made, Joe.
You had 6-7?
Don't doubt it if you're good at that game.
You are better?
All right, tuning and gets it through.
I don't know.
You have it?
Yeah.
Still one elimination away from being done
I know
for the
Samba team
evening.
called these girls to disturb me, yeah? What? You are very smart, actually. You call these girls from Samba team, they should disturb me, yeah?
Yeah, but it's a big line that cool.
I'm ready for this. When you make this, they start with the Samba.
It was ugly, bro.
Please.
I have queen, you know?
This is fun.
They call it Samba poker for a reason. That's brilliant.
Patricio is en forme. Hein? Il est en forme, Patricio. Il est en forme, Patricio.
Patricio go for 120,000.
Comment on dit le jeton joyeux?
This is what Patricio do now.
Comment on dit le jeton joyeux?
And my UTG range is not like always.
Sorry.
Now it's really serious.
Kowalski with a hand that people
Patricio
hate
have
folding.
happy chip. You know happy chip?
Chirping chips.
Chirpy chips, we just said
I'd be
it.
happy too if I had all the...
Yeah, and I wouldn't mind, calling with this type of hand against a middle position opener, but sometimes under the gun, I feel like I'm just going to be dominated too often, and would elect to just be a little bit more on the snug
Oh,
side. Hello,
boy.
Salter. The real
Jackie
hand.
Z waking up with pocket kings.
Will the real hand please stand up?
480,000.
Salter starts with 26 big blinds. Is all in that bad?
It's a lot of big. I mean, just ripping 26 does make it look a little bit on the weaker side, but I think the 3-bet means that he can actually have some 3-bet squeeze bluffs here as well, and you want to have those in there.
Okay, all right.
How much?
1.5?
But I think when you have an under the gun opener, then you feel like there's more hands that you could get called by
Yeah.
because that range is just going to be a little bit stronger. And if you can manage to make your hand look a little bit weaker,
sure,
then that might be a good thing. But yeah, I mean, as Nick said, just a little too many, you know, even if Jack was messing around, Ace Jack just doesn't want to get involved for that effective stack size.
Yeah, I think you guys make a good point about the earlier position open, which should be theoretically a stronger range. But
I like how it was Maria's point. I got credit for it. Yeah, you guys make a good point.
But you also have to remind when you're looking at that spot, you also have to remind yourself that we're talking about the chip leader too. So immediately his range can be even wider just by virtue of the fact that he has all the chips and he can do whatever he wants at this point to just try and bully some of the shorter stacked players.
Stapes, you don't want credit because Nick basically just told me that, you know, counterpoint Maria. So,
yeah, no, I'm glad I didn't say that. How embarrassing for you.
Awkward.
You can see why Samba was brought up. People look like they're ready to dance.
Very good. Very
Counterpoint.
Good
No.
You know, I've been trying to be good and go to the gym every day, and the amount of fit people in this gym here is unbelievable.
I believe that. I have not set foot in it once. Salter with Queen Jack. Pretty incredible how people on the internet can find a way to ruin any moment. Unreal.
Machado starting the hand with around 49, probably around 50 big blinds. Has the option to come along if he feels like he wants to try and flop a set. Salter is quite shallow here, though. And when you got these small pocket pairs, sometimes you kind of think to yourself, when I do hit, which is going to happen about 14% of the time, something in that region, is there enough behind to pay for all the times that I miss? You know, is there enough implied value for me to come along and try and set mine with the fours?
Yes. 3, 4, 5, 6 for Machado. A potential 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for Yarosh. Queen Jack with 2 overs, no flush draw.
Oh man, a 7 would be so devastating for these fours. Nine eight with the lead. Very, very interesting. Salter's in such a weird spot because he still has another player to act behind him. Not only is he facing a lead on a board where he just completely whiffs, not even a back door. But of course, the small blind can be sitting there with all kinds of stuff that he doesn't want to see. Trays. If he's got fours, he's going to have trays. He's going to have sixes. He's going to have fives.
Yeah. Not to mention, you know, big blind certainly has some of the 2-pair combos as well, plus pair straight draws.
Yeah. Oh, 7's so scary as well because with the fours, you're blocking other 4x straights that people might have, so you feel even more confident that when you've turned the straight, you've got the best hand.
Well, open-ended straight draws almost always make a pair, and in this case, that is true. Pair of sixes.
It's actually a really nice turn card, I think, for Jarosz to bet again, as the one that led on that flop certainly can pretty credibly represent trips here. You know, top pair on the flop with some possible draws would obviously be betting.
Machado makes the call.
I mean, they're right. People at this table don't like to fold.
Going to the river. This is a tough table. Tough table. 7 on the river. It is always coming 7. Machado makes a straight. Jarosz makes a better straight.
And I promise you, when Jarosz bets this, Machado's not going to like it, because just the line that Jarosz has taken, you know, betting into 2 players on the flop, then betting the turn, and then betting this river, it's like you can't love your 7 high straight at all with the paired board.
Not at all. You just, oh, quick call.
Quick call from Machado. Ship it to Jarosz. Ooh, did not see that coming. I don't know how you would, honestly.
I mean, it's not the 8-9 I'd be concerned about. I thought he was going to table 5s or something, you know,
Right.
trays. It's just absolutely savage line, and that's going to cost him.
Machado down to 15 big blinds.
Oh, yikes. And Patrick Jarosz up to 179 big blinds with just 17 players remaining. This is madness.
More big blinds than the entire table combined.
You know, I was never that sure, Stapes, about the whole human calculator bit until now. Like that one, that's impressive.
I think everyone else has around
So
130,
quick.
and he's got 179.
So quick, so
It's
accurate.
not my coach, but
you do know him?
You should get a raise.
I know him.
Okay.
I know. Of course I know.
No, I mean...
But we are
You never see this stuff online, guys.
Person. I like to talk a lot also.
Yeah, me too sometimes.
Who's that?
I was asking if Cabral was his coach. Martin Cabral, you know? From Czech also.
I know,
Yeah.
That one didn't
But
land.
I
did it?
like to, like, more polite and friendly conversation.
Oh, yeah.
He's like
yeah, you're
little-
smiling. You're always smiling.
He like little bit like.
I love
go,
Cabral. I think he's hilarious.
You know, little bit deep and he,
Cabral really threw me off this summer when we were at the same table
sometimes
and he
little bit
gave me a
toxic,
rose, and I thought for sure it was
And
one of those
everybody
like
on his-
trick
on his
roses
table
that would
like-
just explode in my face
The squirting rose.
at
Like
any
they're gonna
minute.
die in,
And then he was like,
3 minutes.
and it happened to be the night where all of that commotion went down at the WSOP towards the end of the summer.
Oh, no.
And he actually offered to just like, I was pretty shaken up and I wanted to leave, but we had to bag our chips, and he like offered to bag my chips for me and was very genuine and sincere, you know, in the moment. And I was like, wait, I thought I was supposed to not like you.
Well, we all know that the way that people treat you is absolutely the way they treat everyone else. By the way, I having said that, I don't have any personal issue with Cabral, and I find his antics mildly amusing.
Maria got back to her car, and then the rose exploded.
Right.
No.
Let's look together.
I didn't realize you were there for all that, Maria. I did not check in on you. Sorry about that.
It's okay. I
yeah,
definitely have a story to share
get
from
it.
that night. It was
Okay,
crazy. But you know,
on the
add
river.
that to the list of things we need to catch up on, Stapes.
No.
These guys are having a great time.
I mean, they're acting like the bags are on their way out right now. We're nearing the end of this level.
Actually, King goose. Yeah.
It's gonna be
Artunian shoving over the raise from Jarosz.
Oh,
And
this hand
Yarosh
can
made the
last
call, was
next day.
committed. Haratunian is in front, but has to fade kings and deuces. This is a stressful spot. Anytime your tournament life is on the line,
how I said.
and your opponent has
No.
live
I
cards,
stayed just on the. I was first. Our king is also not so bad.
and it's a safe run out for Haratunian. That's a double up.
I love a guy who's all in and doesn't stand up. You know what I mean, Joe?
Yeah, the wrong guy was standing. The guy that has 10 times his chips stood up. And that leaves Peterson Machado, the short stack at the table.
Thank you.
Folks in chat asking what happened at the World Series. You can Google it. It's not really the time to go over.
Yeah, you've been you went short a few times in this tournament, but then you always survived the last one.
Come back from...
Google it on your own. I don't need to see a bunch of discussion of it happening in chat right now because I'm going to end up banning everybody.
Twice.
Yeah.
Amazing. Why I showed them?
Yeah.
I didn't tell you.
It's difficult to finish
before you shove it.
Ace. You find ace. Ugh.
Find suited days.
If it's not suited, you don't call, yeah?
Of course.
And number 137,
Yes.
Salter is under the
Maybe I'm
gun
folding,
with
I don't
King
know.
Jack off.
Oh my god. How many time banks actually do you have? You chunk a lot.
5.
You have 5, you still
Yeah.
5. It's insane.
Yeah, I apologize to the people watching and being pretty slow recently, but handle it. But so yeah, sorry guys.
By the way, I don't think you need to apologize for that. It's cool what you did, but
Very respectful folks.
unfortunately, people that tank 2-3 minutes over somewhat trivial decisions have ruined it for people who take 10 or 15 seconds, which makes that seem like an eternity.
Yeah, and I think also in his position at this stage in the tournament with 30 big blinds under the gun with King Jack off, I think you paused. You go, this is a playable hand, but in the context of this situation, it's probably one that I want to try and take out. And that seems like something that you would consider for sure.
Machado taking his time with Jack 4 in the cutoff.
Yeah, he's got to still be thinking about those fours. What a tough spot there. Absolutely gin river for the 8-9.
Yeah, it might feel like counterintuitive or productive
Okay, make
to
it faster,
call and then,
120,000.
hit your what supposed gin card on the river and fold. But like, I just don't think that you're going to find your opponent to have very many bluffs in that spot once they fire the river.
Now somebody's
So-
in my competition.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's tough.
What's going on? Break?
That is the
Break
last
now?
hand of the level. We are going to continue playing on until we reach 16 players. 17 players is where we're at right now. Let's take a look at the chips that the feature table players will be taking to break with them and returning with after break, where the blinds will be 40,000, 80,000 with an 80,000 big blind ante. 3 players with sub 20 big blind stacks at this table. Salter not doing much better. Caldu So in an uncomfortable spot. It's Patrick Yarosh with all of the chips at this table. 127 big blinds, more than everyone else combined. We're taking an 18-minute break. More from EPT Barcelona when we return.
Manchester raise to 200,000.
Francesco Notaro opening here with ace-king. We've established that he is the short stack coming in to the final. Georgios Skatadis has put on a jacket for the final day.
Nice, I appreciate that.
Jesus re-raise.
Jesus Cortez Lozano re-raises with ace-queen.
More blind pass. 570,000. Big blind pass.
I actually think that
Re-raise all in.
Notaro
yeah,
all in.
modern poker would not always be a re-raise on the button against a raise that early. Not horrible, but ooh, and calling it off too.
Yeah, Lozano calls, and it is domination nation in favor of the Italian.
And Francesco goes ace-king.
Who could get a much-needed double up here.
Probably.
77% favorite.
I can see that.
I'm feeling a queen.
What comes? 10, 5,
10-5 deuce on the flop. Ace of clubs for Lozano. Watch out for runner.
Jack of clubs.
See the turn, please. And the turn, please. 6 of hearts, no change.
Okay. Lozano only has 2 outs now. Notaro just has to fade a queen on the river. And it is a queen!
Oh.
Domination rotation. Look at the crowd watching this final table.
That was another tournament, wasn't it?
No, that is the audience watching the final.
Oh, man.
There is the chance here, Joe, of a Spanish EPT champion with Jesus Cortez Lozano at this final table, and they're delighted to see him win that hand and eliminate Francesco Notaro, who cashes for 70,000 euros in 8th place.
Oh my God. Everybody screams, Queen, Queen.
It's all skill.
Don't go all in against me.
Call. And Shandako. We play.
So Pantaleo's opened under the gun with ace-king. Puchkov in with ace-queen. De Vries calls with 3s and flops a set.
Shander to 3s. Ace-king drawing stone dead. We're about to find out just how invincible Giuseppe Pantaleo feels right now.
Understood in pass. Shanda raise.
Raises to 525,000.
I don't know what I think about this raise. I think it's pretty tough to get a call from ace-king, or any hand that whiffed entirely.
Yeah.
But well done, it happened.
Giuseppe call, 525. Turn card, 2 of spades.
I'm so glad that we still have that alert for the change in blind levels to ruin the tension of dramatic poker moments.
Here comes the rest. It's a little bit more than pot.
De Vries all in for 1.7 million.
whatever class, and Chandler wins the match.
So Chandler de Vries gets the fold. Has 3.19 million.
5,000 blinds, 40 and 80,000.
And the blinds are going up to 40,000, 80,000. Okay, this next hand you may have seen before. It's quite a significant one.
All right. Good chance I don't remember it anyway.
Giuseppe Pantaleo on the button with Jack 8. Definitely would describe this as one of the most famous hands in EPT history. As Pantaleo raises to 165,000, action on Jesus Cortez Lozano in the big blind, who's got Jack 10.
Seems like a fair defend. Lozano running fairly hot so far.
Queen 6 deuce. So both players whiff. Lozano checks the action to the pre-flop aggressor.
Seems like a pretty standard spot to c-bet. Oh, okay.
Board pairs on the turn, puts a potential flush out there. So with no c-bet from Pantaleo on the flop, Lozano leads turn for 230k. Pantaleo calls.
Well, yeah, this leads me to believe that Pantaleo is going to make some kind of move on the river because you can't possibly think you have the best hand.
Well, with the board now double paired, you will note that they are both playing queens and deuces with a jack kicker. This is going to be the type of pot that everybody loves. Although, as you suspect, Joe, it seems that Pantaleo is getting ready to make a move. Lozano has bet 330,000. Pantaleo did not call hoping to hit something on the turn. He is going to bluff this river, raising to 790,000.
How much?
7.9.
This is really weird because Pantaleo did not c-bet the flop, right? You'd expect him to c-bet with clubs, with a queen. The only hands you wouldn't expect them to be any c-bets would be...
Lozano calls, Pantaleo mucks. It should have been a chop.
Oh, man. Do you think he knows?
Yeah.
I had to check high too. Yeah, I saw it. You saw it?
Lozano showed.
My. Oh, he showed too? Oh, my God. How do you recover from that? Oh, no. I mean, I understand it because you never expect you're going to chop with jack high there.
He mucked his hand. That's why it's not a chop. He surrendered. He threw his cards face down into the muck. Lozano, as the last player with cards, which he showed, automatically wins the pot.
Oh, man.
Raise to 160 from Ken.
Lundmark,
who has raised to 160,000 with ace-jack. Puchkov has flatted with sevens. De Vries calls with king-queen. Pantaleo must be on uber tilt right now, has fours in the small blind.
Do we just want to say that that Cortez deserved that pot for making the call with Jack High?
Yeah. Thor Stang is in as well with 5-4. We are going 5-way to the flop. And that flop is ace, 5, deuce with 2 diamonds. This is a very Kent Lundmark flop.
This is messy. Hey, remember how I say like early day coverage because of multi-way action?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Interestingly, Pantaleo has decided to lead here with pocket fours. I don't think it's going to work out for him.
I mean, this, look, I don't want to read too much into it, but this is the kind of play you start to make when you're rattled, right? You just start acting goofy.
Pantaleo does not improve on the turn.
Might be compelled to fire again. Nope, all right, fair enough.
And Kent Lundmark checks behind. River is the 8 of clubs. Lundmark has a lock on this.
The Lundmark check mark.
Check. And check showdown.
Gets check to showdown.
Shows a pair of fours.
And
doesn't
more
buck this
chips
time.
Are gonna slide away. Just in case. Yeah. The smile with like the rocking in his chair like that leads me to believe that he's losing his marbles a little bit. Yeah.
So Pantaleo has lost the chip lead, started with 6.4 million, down to 2.5 million. Kent Lundmark now playing more than 4 million. Pantaleo has opened with ace-7. Puchkov has ace-5 suited in the big blind. He calls. Queen 10-3. Normally, my reaction to the toothpick would be, nah. But Konstantin Puchkov, the Russian Carl from up, is kind of making it work.
I will allow it.
260.
260k apiece. We all draw now for Puchkov. Pantaleo still with the best hand right now. And there is the wheel. Runner, straight cards for Puchkov.
Toothpick tell time. Yeah, you're right. It really does mess with things, doesn't it?
Puchkov betting 760,000. Now would be a bad time for an ace-high hero call.
I mean, does Puchkov really look like the bluffing type? Well,
I mean,
yes.
I think Pantaleo has very much lost his mojo.
Yeah.
Along with a significant percentage of his chips.
You know, when I think river full pot bluffer, I don't often think of a guy with his glasses on a chain.
Pantaleo down to 1.26 million. Came into the final table as the big chip leader. Now one of the shortest stacks, and now finds himself all in with ace-10. Does have Sander de Vries dominated, but Pantaleo is the at-risk player.
And this would be a very sad ending.
And the bluff comes 4, king.
There is a 4 on the flop.
Giuseppe needs to catch his 10 to stay alive.
Pantaleo looks so despondent.
Miserable.
King of hearts.
I guess that helps a little.
Yeah, an ace or a 10 would save him. It's the ace.
Yes!
Barry Greenstein.
Sorry.
Marisha stuck to the 3s.
It's what, nothing against
No,
you,
good.
So just checking the advertised payouts. Second place, 525k. The winner, 825. Mark with ace queen, Lozano with king jack.
James, any recollection as to how long this heads-up match actually went?
I don't remember it that clearly.
880.
I don't recall it. I don't recall it being an epic heads-up battle. I remember the final table being quite meaty, but I don't remember the heads-up going on forever.
Well, it feels like it's going to be relatively short on TV if ace-queen holds.
You think it's going in here?
I don't know if there are 20 needs.
I mean, Lozano 3-bet to 880, and he had a total of 5-something, right? So I don't see why.
Yeah, Lundmark shoves.
Shove. Yeah. Oh, man, look at that rail.
And Lozano calls, yes, this could be it. Kent Lundmark, a 2-1 favorite to win the Barcelona leg of Season 7 of the European Poker Tour.
Let's see the first.
997, ace high still good. Lundmark now nearly a 3-1 favorite. Lozano needs help. King or a jack required.
You're just like, please, just pair me one time.
It's a 5 of spades.
Same outs required. 6 cards that Lozano can hit to survive. If Lundmark fades a king or a jack, he's the champion.
Strike 1 on the flop, strike 2 on the turn.
Let's see the river.
The river is an ace. Barry Greenstein. We have a winner here in Barcelona. Joe, tell us his name.
Ken Lundmark.
The Swede
There it is.
takes it down for 825k.
That was Barcelona then. This is Barcelona now. Hello, my babies, and welcome back to EPT Barcelona 2022, the record-breaking main event. Live coverage at the tail end of Day 4 from Casino Barcelona. Your top 5 chip stacks in the room, which is at this point 17 players of the record-breaking 2,294 who started. Michael Pinto and Patrick Yarosh, Kehan Makri as well, all with 125-ish blinds each. That's insane compared to the rest of the field. We're all more like the rest of the players at this feature table. 27 blinds and fewer. Short stacks are Haratunian and Machado at the main feature table. Secondary feature table, no one quite as short there, a little bit more evenly distributed to the top. Rocha at most risk there. Pinto with more chips than anyone else. One other table in play. All relatively short-handed until we lose one more player. That's what they're playing for. It's poker for money. And tomorrow, we will see that 10th and 9th place money more than likely awarded. Joe Stapleton in the booth with Griffin Benger.
Hello, everyone.
And Nicholas Walsh.
Hello, hello. Thank you so much for having me.
1.7.
So either way, this will be the last level of the day. We'll either play this through the entire 90 minutes, or we will lose another player, be down to the final 16, and call it quits. Blinds now at 40,000, 80,000 with an 80,000 big blind ante.
All right, guys, over under 16 minutes. What do you think?
Over.
160,000. Directly.
By default, you have to take the under, Nick.
After the break. 160,000. Like
and
this.
if it is over, you're banned.
We're all banned if it's under.
It'll
be done.
Depends. What is serious for you, what is serious for me, okay?
Chirpy Chips continues.
Can we play some poker?
Very serious.
Double serious. This is a serious game.
Probably I go 3-3 bluffs against you. And give them good odds.
Haratunian elects not to re-raise. The cutoff raise from Yarosh does have Yarosh dominated. Kowalski in the small.
Yeah, give Kowalski an opportunity here if he deduces that this isn't a trap on the button. Maybe King 8 suited is the kind of candidate you want to just, on 25 big blinds, make a little squeeze here. But it's a bit dicey, you know. Haratunian might have no intention of folding. You still have to get through Salter in the big blind.
You had like 1.5.
And now Salter is trying to figure out, am I getting a good enough price here to go three-handed? Try to flop something goofy?
I don't know.
Probably not. But, you know, you would call 6-5 suited probably.
A little too goofy.
Maybe some
6-deuce.
6-4 suited. What's it going to be, Jack?
Jesus says, why what he calls what with 10 big blinds? Lol. No one has 10 big blinds.
Yeah, and now you're banned.
He said he started 1.55.
Going to the flop.
7 tray on the flop, 2 spades.
I will say a bit of a mistake here from Haratunian, not just shoving, you know, on the 16 big blinds, facing a raise from the chip leader. I mean, it's opportunities like that you really need to pounce on. Even now here, as we can see, is ahead with the ace high. You have the backdoor diamonds. Maybe you're prepared to call once, but, you know, what happens on a 6 turn when you face a big bet again?
We've got a diamond on the turn.
Well, that's going to help you stick around.
Unfortunately, what you were saying had a lot of validity to it. That's completely removed by this diamond on the turn.
Yeah, but now Jaros has, you know, a pair of fours. Yeah, made hand, which is the funny part. And doing something goofy with the min bet. Doesn't want to check and rescind all the power. And there's a 10.
And that is a swing and a miss for Haratunian. And Yarosh is going to bet this 4.
Maybe. I'm trying to think what Jaros is trying to get Haratunian to fold.
Or to call with ace high?
No, I think this is more of a...
Well, it worked. It got a fold.
Whatever's going on here.
You're gonna see. It's actually, this is insane.
Insane?
Yeah.
Okay, Jaros, whatever you say, bud.
That was interesting.
It was indeed.
What, the shove in the and the comment?
Yarosh.
Analyze, Nick. What are your thoughts?
I thought that was interesting.
What about it?
Don't hold back. It's literally your job.
Yeah,
No, the Jack. I think the Jack 4 suited open is totally cool. I mean, as the chip leader, you can definitely do some wacky stuff there for sure. I'm with Griff though. I think I prefer the jam with the Ace Jack diamonds there.
It's the easiest jam ever.
Yeah,
the chip leaders open the cutoff and you have Ace Jack.
Well, that's
suited or not.
That's the point that the person who said he had 10 big blinds was making.
Real
Why not
serious
shove?
Real.
They were wrong about the amount of big blinds, but turns out you guys also think it should have been a shove with Ace Jack suited.
Well, the thing that was interesting to me is the way that the rest of the hand played out. It didn't really make a lot of sense, but
yeah, I mean, the 4 has considerable showdown, right? Like once you get to that stage, I guess he's probably not expecting him to have a hand like Ace Jack, you know. So I guess maybe that's why he was thinking he needs to try and get, you know, a small pocket pair to fold. I don't know, something like that. It's kind of weird, isn't it?
I mean, small pocket pairs are sets.
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what makes that difficult, right?
Yarosh opening Ace-8 suited. Kowalski flatting on the button with deuces. Salter has 7 tray in the small blind. Posturing?
Jack Salter has a tendency to, you know, really hate the viewers and the production staff. Make it go as long as possible to break his previous record when he won an EPT of keeping everyone there
Second
until
place.
around 7,
Second place.
Second place finish. Second. See, I don't even remember who won that thing.
Oh, baby.
Oh, yeah.
The big blind special from Calidou.
So good.
Calidou. So good. Pocket kings, and that is a sizable re-raise. 580,000.
580,000, yeah.
Yarosh pulling a little Salter here.
I mean, don't underestimate this guy. I don't know what's going on with this guy. The way he was talking with the last hand.
Huh?
I wouldn't be surprised if he just shoves here or calls.
We're going to see a call with Ace-8 suited. I guess in position to sow at least.
And this is the thing about this spot.
Kowalski's going to fold the deuces at least.
Yeah, has to. Is that so shouldn't really have a 3-betting range here. You know, playing just under 20 big blinds or raising a call, this should kind of play as a pure shove and then hopefully get called by ace queens and ace jacks and 2 9s and 2 10s and what have you. But Calidou, you know, has had a lot of success on the tour and will do things like this that maybe isn't particularly balanced but can still garner action from players that, you know, maybe aren't playing by the certain rules that you maybe should in tournament poker, and this is a great example of that. Like, why just shove here and get all the folds from Kowalski and Jaros, who's raising, you know, Jack 4s, and if Jaros has a hand that he thinks is pretty, get him to call, and then suddenly the
no.
Kowalski shoves over both players.
Oh, this is a gross misstep.
It seems like maybe we have played one level too long. So, obviously, going nowhere.
Then I fold.
Yarosh comes to his senses and folds after contributing 600,000 in dead money, and so gets it in as a heavy favorite.
I mean, to Griff's point, maybe the more unconventional line is what sort of inspired
Did you say
this,
more unconventional?
I mean, look, So just got 2 people to make huge mistakes pre-flop here.
Exactly.
Had he just played this as a shove, probably would have gotten 2 folds.
Yeah, absolutely.
So good for So, and this is...
I love playing results.
Yeah.
That's all we keep track of. So, 77% chance we see a Calidou So double up. Queen 6-6 2 spades.
That's not a great flop because of those backdoor spades. Deuce is still live. love to just see a 6 on the turn to kill it.
2 immediate outs now. Only 2 outs in the deck. 2 cards for Calduso to fade. 1 card to come. The river is a deuce.
No. Quack, quack.
Oh, man.
Gosh.
So brutal.
Oh, ducks fly together.
So gross.
Fly together after all.
So eliminated. Out in 17th place.
Can't believe it.
Finito.
Cala, don't
Finito.
do that. That hurts all of us. Caladu so out in 17th.
That's a long walk right there.
67,000 euros, and that is going to end play for the day.
Look at the Cheshire smile on Kowalski. I mean, how else can you react?
The Caladu. Now, there still is action at the secondary feature table. There won't be another hand dealt at the main table. I don't think we're going to see something as gross here. I don't think it's possible.
What did you have when I had jacks? King, queen?
River, too. Can we just pause the action here? I need to get over what I just saw.
Yeah, so savage. Caladu, man, shout out to you, buddy. That was gross.
A7 for Pinto. Top pair. Costa calls the bet with second pair. Turn is the 6 of hearts. Hearts not a factor in this hand.
Now I would get in the fold because I play tight? Not so tight. Not tight.
I'm glad that happened so far away from dinner, because I might have lost it.
I 5 bet jam ace queen suited.
I believe if you had ace king, you didn't push 3 times.
Sometimes yes, sometimes.
Check, queen on the river, so no change. Obviously, board texture changes a little bit from the flop, but top pair still beating second pair.
Yeah, this is just going to play as a check most of the time.
Check. So everyone from this table will be returning tomorrow for the final 2.
I would have called, obviously. I would have called the river, obviously. Too bad I check call the river.
Time to check in with table 3.
But I don't want to bet because
where it looks like there is action here as well. So it's Paul Fischel. And Scott Margerison. Scotty. Paul, the player in the far right top corner, the purple shirt, the lavender shirt. Margerison is all in. Couple of 9s, a king, a tray. And it looks like Margerison has Fischel covered. So Fischel with a decision for his tournament life. Playing a time bank card. Those will get refreshed tomorrow. 5 more time banks will go out to each player.
Do you get to keep the ones that, yeah.
I do believe you get to bank the ones you have. You throw them in the bag with your chips. Did not catch the pre-river action. Fischel imagining folding. Margerison says no bluff. And that's it with that fold.
I want to call.
We're done.
What? Day is finished. Day is finished? Yeah, it was 60. You had a
Don't ask.
I really almost called.
I got 3 suited.
What?
Jack 3 suited.
Yeah, that's what I thought. You might have a fucking free and fucking put me all in.
I have to. I didn't want. I was just like, close my eyes. Okay, I'm gonna have to bluff. This is my.
Yeah, but I wasn't sure if you were gonna push all in with a fucking free, or if I should bluff my ace.
Wow, what a
but
play.
I don't think bluffing ace high there makes sense. Fuck. I mean, like, where's the club on the river? Where's the fucking club? The jack of clubs, and I pay you.
Like, it's pretty sick. Like, I have to go. I have like a three. A 3 is my only value. Like, or like king 9 and 3.
Some high-level chatter there. You can overhear it.
So it was a bluff.
No, I think that he might have had trip 3s. So he said he had Jack 3 suited.
Okay.
And he said the only value I could have there is a 3 or king 9.
Here we go. Now we get to celebrate. Congratulations to the Sweet 16. He'll be coming back tomorrow for the final 2 tables.
Sweet 16. Did you just make that up?
I did.
Wow. It's amazing. Got such a ring to it.
Bags are out. Everyone writing letters to home in case they don't make it.
Oh, Joe, I'm still feeling so sad.
I know. Well, my babies, that is it for the night. One last look at the chip counts. Not much has changed except for one person that got all of Kaladou So's chips. Fabiano Kowalski. The deuces running down the pocket kings. Let's try to focus on the positive. These final 16 players coming back tomorrow to play for a lot of money. Just 6 eliminations to go before we reach that 10th place money of 6 figures. But all eyes are at the top of that chart when things start getting 7-figure-y. Almost $750,000 for third, $1 million for second, $1.7 million for first. Check out the PokerStars blog for all of the updates from this main event and the other tournaments happening. From the Mystery Bounty, for the Hypers, for the side events, for Mason Pie's win. Tune in tomorrow. 2 more days of coverage, 1 more regular day tomorrow. We play down to some number of the final table between 6 and 9 players. And the day after will be the final table. Until then, until tomorrow, that's all from Barcelona. Good night.